Seductive Pain, Part 6. Even though Maria is not a cop, Nicholas lets her ask Vincent few questions. Vincent is young. He is deeply saddened and hurt by Monica's death. Yet, Maria suspects there is something wrong with him. He is not right in the head. Nicholas can't hide the feeling he has for Maria. They have an affair. They involve in a passionate love affair. They continue to make love every chance they get day and night while working on the case. Nicholas tracks Paul down with the help of Maria at a tennis game. Actually, Maria is the one who found out that Paul is obsessed with a professional tennis player named Amanda. Paul tries to escape. Nicholas chases Paul down the court and tackles him at the net. He then cuffs his hands in front of thousands of spectators. At the interrogation room, Nicholas and Detective Melissa question Paul about the murder. Paul confesses for the killing. But the DA lets Paul go free due to the lack of evidence, false testimony, history of mental illness, and family influence, including an uncle, Eli Spencer, who is the governor of California, and a brother, Trevor, who is the commandant of the Marine Corps in United States Department of the Navy. Maria writes article on the story, criticizing the Justice Department and influences that family had on the ruling. In the meantime, Nicholas has a fallout with Governor Spencer, who held him responsible for leaking information to media and abstraction of justice. Trevor and 5 U.S. Marines come to Nicholas's house and threaten Nicholas to slice his throat if he doesn't leave the city. Trevor shows Nicholas the picture of Maria. He tells him he will kill her personally if Nicholas contacts her. They are going to tap her phone and listen to all her conversation. She is a journalist. She knows too much. Trevor burns the photo of Maria and marks a cross-eye on Nicholas's forehead with the ash to tell him he means business. Nicholas leaves Los Angeles without telling Maria. In the other hand, Vincent thinks Paul is guilty. He kidnaps him, puts him in a prison that he built, and treats him like a prisoner. Vincent is one of the most interesting characters in the story. He begins to hunt those who think they can escape justice, kidnapping hardcore criminals and serial killers, and locks them in prison cells. 5 years later, Nicholas, who has been working as private investigator in New York City, returns to LA to see Maria. He meets her at a restaurant. She asks him where he has been all those times. Nicholas decides to tell the truth. He is not supposed to see her. They threaten to kill her. He is here to find a missing person. Maria doesn't know what he is talking about. Nicholas adds he got a letter from Governor Spencer that his nephew Paul has been missing for a while and wants to know Paul's whereabouts. Nicholas admits he left the city, because he didn't want them to harm Maria. She thinks that's romantic. But he should have called her at least and tell her he is alive. He asks her to forgive him. Not only has she forgiven him, but they also kiss and make love all night. Nicholas is hired by Governor Spencer to find Paul. He disappeared 5 years ago. Nicholas tracks down Vincent at his farmhouse and asks him few questions, including if he might have run into Paul. Vincent tells him he doesn't know anything about Paul. Vincent has moved on with his life. He introduces him his new family, a wife Caitlin and a daughter Madeline. Vincent says, "We can't live in the past. Things happens for a reason. I lost the love of my life. But God gave me a beautiful daughter and a wife whom I love more than life itself." He sounds convincing. Meanwhile, Maria, who has been conducting her own investigation, thinks Paul is innocent. She tells Nicholas the real murder could be her ex-boyfriend Robert. Maria shows Nicholas a wedding video of Monica and Vincent. Robert is the best man. He is looking at Monica with such desire. Nicholas and Maria investigate the case farther, looking at videos of the investigation, questioning of Robert. It was obvious he was lying. Nicholas and Maria come to Robert's house to question him. But they are told he has been missing for 3 years. His alibi was Jacqueline, his sister. Nicholas questioned her. Jacqueline admits lying to protect Robert, her brother. She saw him burning his clothes that night. Nicholas and Maria return to Vincent's house to question him more about Paul's disappearance. Vincent tells them that he killed him and got rid of the body. Nicholas knows Vincent is lying. Nicholas and Maria leave the house at the time being, and begin to follow Vincent. They see him buying excessive foods and groceries and taking them to a warehouse. They then wait till midnight. Vincent comes out of his house, makes sure nobody is watching him, accesses underground building and gives food to about 100 prisoners. Vincent then shoots Paul with a stunt gun. Outside, Nicholas tells Maria to wait in the car, takes out his gun, comes to the building and confronts Vincent what's going on. Vincent tells Nicholas the entire prison is wired with explosive. He just has to press a button on his watch. Everybody dies and the places will be consumed with flame. He adds they are criminals. They have taken innocent people's lives. Vincent only kills them when someone needs an organ donation at hospitals. They take life. They must give life back. He warns Nicholas to drop his gun. Nicholas has no choice but to drop his gun and tries to talk sense into Vincent. Nicholas tells Vincent Paul didn't kill Monica. He is innocent and asks Vincent to let Paul go. It's Robert who killed Monica in cold blood. Monica knew her killer. He came as a friend. In flashback, Monica let him in. Robert beat, raped and killed Monica. Vincent is not surprised to hear that. He tells Nicholas he knew Robert killed his wife. He investigated the case himself and found out Robert murdered Monica. Actually, first, he tortured Paul without food and water. In flashback, Vincent asked Paul to confess for the killing of Monica. He would let him go free. Paul said he didn't kill Monica. Instead he confessed for the raping and killing of a 13-year-old girl named Crystal the same day. Vincent then tracked down Robert, gassed him unconscious with nerve gas and put him in cell 4. Later, Vincent killed Robert and gave his heart to a patient who suffered from heart condition. Vincent kept Paul in prison, because he raped and killed Crystal. Paul is guilty. Vincent is going to remove his heart and give it to a female patient who has suffered from heart enlargement. The punishment fits the crime. They all are guilty. Nicholas tells him he can't carry out the law in his hand. Vincent screams at him, "Who said I can't?" Nicholas tries to explain to him, some of them are mental ill. Without a psychological evaluation, you don't know who is guilty and innocent. They might be diagnosed with hallucination. Some of them are diagnosed with bipolar. They act under force beyond their understanding. Vincent must let them go and the law should look at the cases. I'm the law. I'm the judge. I'm the executioner. I'm God. Vincent shouts at Nicholas in rage. In the meantime, Nicholas has seen this place. Vincent can't let him go. He threatens to kill him. But Nicholas says he is not afraid of dying. Vincent doesn't want to kill an innocent man. When he is about to let it go, the beautiful smile of his wife flash in his memory. Instead, Vincent begins to shoot the prisoners one by one in fury and bitterness. Nicholas tells him this is madness, it has nothing to do with your wife's death. Maria comes to the prison, points her gun at Vincent and tells him to drop his gun. She also informs him cops are in their way. Vincent clicks his watch and tells them they have only 12 seconds to leave the place before it explodes. 11, 10, 9. Nicholas takes Maria's hand and they begins to run toward the exit. They manage to exit just in time as the building explode, killing all of them. Later, LAPD run a dental record. It matches with Vincent. They conclude he is dead. Nobody would have survived from that explosion. Nicholas and Maria come to a wedding of Esmeralda, Maria's friend and a fellow journalist. It's held in the beach. They dance slow. Later, the ring bearer, little girl, complains of tooth pain. She has only 2 lower teeth and a wisdom tooth, which is hurting her. Her mother says she has tooth infection. The doctor has to pull out almost all of her teeth. Nicholas and Maria decide to leave the wedding ceremony and take a walk in the beach. Meanwhile, Nicholas suspects Vincent could have survived the incident. They sit at a restaurant located next to the ocean. Nicholas envisions how Vincent could have faked his death. Yet, he looks at Maria and brushes the thought aside. We then see Vincent nearby. He looks a total different person. He has blonde hair and fake mustache. It seems he is looking at Nicholas and Maria. But he has a file of a serial killer named Lance who is suspect of raping and killing of 5 young women. Lance gets up and walks toward his latest prey. Vincent follows the man to stop him. Nicholas sees the blonde man and think for a second, is that Vincent? He then shakes his head, no, it can't be. Maria gets up and sits on Nicholas's lap. They talk between soft kisses like Chris's style and kiss intimately. The end. On the stage, Usher sings Burn. Chris, Emma, Sean, and Ana de Armas continue to talk, but we can't hear what they are saying due to the song. Seconds later, Ana de Armas and Sean get up, say bye to Chris and Emma and leave. Chris and Emma talk without a sound. On the stage, Usher begins to sing You Got It Bad. Chris gives Emma his hand to dance. She takes his hand. They come to the dance floor and dance slow. They talk between soft kisses and kiss French. Int. Emma and Olivia's house, party night. A big party is in progress. We see all kinds of movie stars, models and celebrities dancing, doing cocaine, conversing, drinking various alcoholic beverages and smoking weeds. The DJ is playing Heart of Glass by Blondie mixed with dance beat. Chris and Emma dance in the middle of the crowd. Emma is singing with Blondie. She knows lyrics for the song. We see Olivia walking through the crowd. She is the one who is hosting the party. She bumps into Emma. Emma, what's up? Olivia, we are out of ice. Olivia looks at Chris. Emma, I want you to meet Chris. Olivia, we have already met. Nice to see you. She gives him a kiss on the cheek. Olivia, he wrote the screenplay that I'm currently filming. The DJ plays Hella Good by No Doubt. Emma, I love this song. Come on, dance with me. Emma takes Olivia's hand. They dance sensually and kiss in front of Chris. They take his hand and get him in the middle and dance with him. Olivia then excuses them and leaves to get more ice. Chris and Emma continue to dance. Emma knows the lyrics of the songs. It seems she has music dictionary inside her brain. The DJ then plays Starships by Nicki Minaj. The place goes steamy. It's like spring break gone wild. All the girls remove all of their shirts and sing Starships half nude, their breasts hanging on the chest. Emma removes her shirts and sings with Nicki while dancing. She gets closer to Chris and kisses him. They kiss French. Emma then turns around, takes Chris's hands and makes him feel her breasts as they continue to dance. She is naturally high as if she has taken ecstasy. Yet, Emma just wants to kiss Chris. She turns around, puts her arms around him and kisses him. They kiss more intimately. The DJ plays Night Nurse by Gregory Isaacs. Chris and Emma dance slow. People dance slow as well. Chris and Emma talk between soft kisses, and then kiss French till they left their marks in their lips and tongues with the taste of alluring spell and enchanting lust. Chris then carries her and takes her to upstairs. Int. Bedroom, night. Chris places Emma on the bed. On the soundtrack, Turn Your Light Down Low by Bob Marley plays. Chris and Emma talk between soft kisses, but we don't hear what they are saying due to the music on the soundtrack. Then the music falls in the background and plays softly. Chris, let the daunting full moon move aside. You've hooked my heart with your exotic eyes. Dragged my soul into a temptation spell ride. Beautiful enchantment incinerated my pride. Passion bleeds in erotic sea tide. I can't feel the beat of my heart. Should I be kind, steal a kiss? Love unconditionally, and lose my mind? Or ask for mercy and leave everything behind? You got my spirit and flesh in ardent ash. Rapture and bliss in sexual inflammation rush. Alluring clouds of nights in my bone dashes. Pleasant chaos disguised as infatuation. Breezes deep within my cerebrum and splashes. Pleasure trickle down in my spine and meshes. Glamorous vehemence and enamoring bewilderment blush. Fetching incantation and ravishing wonderment lush. At the core of my soul and slash. Phenomenon, paroxysm and thrill gust into my ribs. They turn into miracle and sensation and crash. Is it just a flash? Chris gives Emma a soft kiss on the lips. What got what in sadist act? Devil and kidney plot. Gallbladder and vein slant. Spleen playing its part. Tongue and liver cut flat. Bones in fierce dart. Lungs apart. Rapture of dark passion swarm my heart. Lust, desire, love, and craving craft. My knees and teeth jolt. Lips and feet jump start. Roaring make her sweat salt. Or I will tell you what is what. Chris gives her a soft kiss on the lips. Beautiful pain. You got me in passion lane. My heart is slain. Am I falling in love? As if I have nothing to lose but gain? They all want me to count to 1 to 10. I shall not take the name of the Lord my God in vain. Yet you have created me with your love and kisses. Should I just write it down a piece of paper? And sign my name with a red pen? All I got is your piercing eyes daggered into my vein. This torture love that I can't explain. I am going insane. Let my blood be your rain. I won't fall in love again. Chris gives her soft kiss. I must have you tonight. Even it means your life. That is right. It's passion at first sight. You may take your last breath. It is an insight. Blood on the erotic eclipse light. Squeeze your heart with love so tight. And kiss your lips day and night. Chris gives her soft kiss. Passion has become the last explanation of what if. But your eyes have given me a reason to believe in a girl. Who steals heart with her irises and call herself a thief. And you might as well keep my heart forever and ever. But give me love that's brief. And a kiss nothing but a relief. I will die happy without a grief. Emma smiles in beauty. Chris plants a soft kiss on her lips. She puts her arms around him, and they kiss French. On the soundtrack, Set Fire to the Rain by Adele mixed with dance beat plays. Chris and Emma remove each other clothes nude while dancing and kiss more intimately. Chris caresses her neck, bites her right breast, sucks her nipple, plants a soft kiss on her belly, leaves few hickeys in his way down, gets between her legs, kisses her inner thigh. Leaves a red hickey and gives her oral pleasure. Emma's face goes through all kinds of sexual emotions phases. She can't take the pleasure. It's too sweet, rapturous, electrifying and powerful. She pulls his hair and brings him to her lips. They kiss more passionately. Emma opens her legs, cuddles him inside her. Chris enters her tantalizingly as they continue to make love. Living room. People continue to party, dancing as if it were the turn of the century. On the soundtrack, Set Fire to the Rain continues to play. Some are kissing. Some are doing drugs and drinking all kinds of alcoholic beverages. Some are having sex. They all are having the time of their lives. Bedroom. Chris and Emma continue to make love. She's on the bottom, missionary position. He lifts her left leg, places it on his shoulder and continues to enter her deliciously. Then on the soundtrack, Roads by Portishead plays. They switch position. Emma gets on top and rides him bewitchingly. We stay with them as they continue to make love with various sexual positions. Series cuts. Later living room. It's a mess. We see empty whiskey bottles, broken glasses, cups, papers, napkins, and various trashes on the floor, which is typical after a big party. The television is on. It's shown All About Eve starring Bette Davis and Ann Baxter. But nobody is in the house. Chris, who is wearing only short, walks down the corridor, takes the stair down to the living room. It is a little bit dark. He goes to the kitchen. Kitchen. Chris opens the refrigerator, grabs a can of Coke and closes it. He then sees Olivia, who is sitting at the dinner table and drinking whiskey in the dark while smoking. She gets up, walks to the switch, turns on the light, and returns back to her seat. Chris looks at her. Chris, hi. Olivia, have a seat. Dining room. It's part of the living room. It has access to the kitchen. It's as big as the living room. Actually, it's second living room. It has a coffee table, sofas, a private bar, etc. Chris sits at the table. Olivia gets up. She is wearing a dress shirt left unbuttoned and a fishnet Victoria's Secret underwear that reveals her vagina. We see her breasts as well as her pubic hair on her vagina. She seems super comfortable with it. Chris is taken by her sense of sexuality. She pours whiskey in a glass, returns to the table, places the drink in front of Chris and takes her seat. Olivia, so what's new? Chris, figuring things out. Olivia, what's to figure? There is nothing left to figure out. Chris, life. Olivia, life is a bitch. Don't figure her out. Let her figure you out. Chris smiles softly. Chris, do you think we have control over our thoughts? Olivia, since when do we have control over anything? Control is most overrated thing in life. That's what make life so exciting. We are supposed to lose a total control over our thoughts, emotions, actions, and life in general and regain it with sex, and be happy like Jesus Christ and Cameron Diaz. Chris smiles softly. Chris, you seem you have already figured it out. Olivia, I doubt it. I am as lost as my last heartbeat. Chris, I feel you. Olivia, it's not a sin, is it? Chris, I don't know anything about heartbeat. I can't offer to lose too much control. I want to do a lot of things in short periods of time. Olivia, Emma told me you're a wizard. You create stories in a blink of an eye. Chris, maybe not in a blink of an eye. But they used to come to me naturally. I can look at your concupiscent eyes and create stories as if I were in a universe where a woman, who looks like an angel of God, gives a belly a dragonfly. Olivia, I don't believe you. Chris, you look exotic. It's like one of the female villains but the main protagonist that you see in X-rated Japanese's animation. X could be for sex or violent or both. Set in a futuristic world, where all kinds of beautiful people live in suspense. Corrupted souls run the show, bad is good, and good is bad. The goddesses are in charge of predisposition, proclivity, enticement, and allurement. Perhaps maleficent forces rule the universe. However, you stand out above the rest. You are at the helm of everything. You have a kind heart. But you are not a good girl by any means. You will snatch out of Jesus Christ's cardiovascular without cutting his chest open, make sure his heart is still beating and put a dagger in it if he keeps you guessing or breaks your heart, and worse if he wastes your time. I get that vibe when I look at your eyes. Olivia, I am not complaining. I even like the role of Cassandra in Lady from Tokyo. However, I didn't like playing a supporting role. Perhaps, you haven't completely figured me out yet. Chris, I have few things lined up for you in lead roles. But I have to get a grip of myself. I am walking in the clouds. Some part of my brain is functioning by itself. It's beautiful but it's also painful, frightening and torturing at the same time. You know, like I saw your eyes and ideas has been flooding into my thoughts. But simultaneously, it's a horror show in my brain. Olivia, what do you mean by horror? Chris, it's nothing. Let me see what I can come up with. It's about a girl named Olivia. She finds out her husband, Eric, is having an affair with a married woman named Sienna whose husband John has no knowledge of the affair. Olivia doesn't want to divorce Eric, because they have a son together. Instead Olivia seduces John, and they involve in a passionate sexual relationship. Actually, Olivia just wanted to get even with Eric, but she ended up falling in love with John. Yet John can't leave Sienna either. John and Sienna have a daughter. In the relationship, they all want the best for their children. The children are the future. Note, if it's convenient we sees Olivia in the lead role. Chris, however, Olivia doesn't really believe in that dogma. She is a writer. She writes article for Cosmopolitan magazine regarding to relationship and sex. Olivia thinks one should live for what she or he believes in above everything. Yet she hasn't found the right person even though she thinks John is handsome. Olivia then meets a man named Seth at art gallery. He is an artist. It is love at first sight. But he is married to a woman named Natalie. Olivia seduces Natalie in order to get closer to Seth and steal him away. She goes bed with Natalie and tells her she will leave Eric. Natalie has to leave Seth as well. They will do whatever they please. It's a little bit similar to Carol starring Cate Blanchett and Rooney Mara. Olivia breaks up with Eric. Natalie leaves Seth. Olivia and Natalie continue to involve in a steamy sexual relationship secretly. But it's a mask. Olivia has an agenda. She wants Seth. The divorce is not finalized yet. As soon as Seth is free, Olivia seduces him, pretending to write an article on him. She actually fucked her young boss Angelica, chief editor played by Ashley Greene, to get the assignment. Olivia ate her out at the office, so she could conduct the interview. She doesn't know how to play fair. Angelica gives Olivia green light. It's a cover story. Olivia tells Seth most people think he is the next Picasso. But she feels he is better than Picasso. She seduces him during the interview. He draws her nude portrait. They make love at his studio. From then on, they can't get enough of each other. They make love 3-4 times a day. If they are not making love, they are kissing as if their lips and tongues are made of sugar and carnations. Meanwhile, Olivia starts working on a novel to prove her theory love is a disease, which makes a woman to leave her son, husband, and a happy home, and experience adventure beyond her wildest fantasies. Olivia and Seth leave everything behind and move to Paris. Seth bases his work in the City of Light. She becomes a full-time writer. They have the time of their lives making love every place they could think of it, inside the church, museum, library, movie theaters, restaurants, bathroom, at the University of Paris, lecture hall, at the park, shopping mall, etc. In the meantime, Seth exhibits his art. Most of them are the nude portrait of Olivia. Seth sells his paintings successfully. In the other hand, Olivia finishes writing the novel, Love is a Disease, but she doesn't want to publish it yet. Seth doesn't know Olivia and Natalie were having an affair. She never told him. He was in love with Natalie and had been left with a broken heart till he met Olivia. She took his breath away. Not only had she made him forget all his pain and confusion with alluring sensuality, but she has also enslaved his sensitive soul with the art of seduction and sex. Olivia has a degree in psychology and might have used it for her advantage as well. I may add a twist. Olivia killed Natalie and got rid of the body. Seth thinks she just disappeared from the face of the earth. No. That's a bad idea. I want the movie to be seductive yet romantic. It's a beautiful love story. You did not kill Natalie. Nonetheless, Olivia mentioned the affair she had with Natalie in the novel. It's the true account of her life. Some part of her tells her she is a writer. She has to publish it regardless of whom or who she may hurt. However, some part of her heart, at the core of her soul, asks her, do you love Seth? The answer is yes. Olivia has never been happier in her life than she is now. She is Juliet, my love is deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. She has fallen in love with Seth like a teenager, who hates to wear underwear, so her boyfriend could make love to her without a prior written consent of her soul, which has already left her heart when she met the love of her life. She is a prostitute. She wants to make love to him day and night, till her heart stops beating. She is a star. Her soul glows like the sun inside her body when she is with Seth. And it shows in her eyes. Her skin radiates light like the angels in heaven. She is a princess. Her feet never touch the ground. The rule of gravity doesn't apply to her anymore. She is a goddess. She commands the supernatural and everything that breathes in oxygen and exhales out carbon dioxide, and whatever natural mystic that the air holds, and reaches orgasms despite the fact no heaven or earth comprehends the love she feels at the core of her soul and the ecstasy that comes with passion. It's once and forevermore. She is a seductress. She always gets what she wants. She is everything. Olivia gets up in the middle of the night, holds the copy of the novel Love is a Disease, comes to the fireplace and burns it page by page. Olivia returns to the bedroom. She tells Seth she can't go back to sleep and asks him to make love to her. They have sex all night. Later, Olivia finds out she's pregnant. She gives birth to a beautiful girl. They name her Isabel. Olivia thinks she finally figures out life. Then all of a sudden, she does not know what she really wants. She tells us she feels empty. She is not completed. She starts to write a new novel under the title of Seductive Disease from the scratch. The end. Olivia, that's impressive. Chris, we can finish it with happy note. You know, an alternative ending. She tells us she finds true happiness, joy and love and can't get enough of Seth and her daughter. Olivia visits her son and her ex. They all get together and celebrate Christmas and New Year. She publishes her new novel under the title of Beautiful Disease. Olivia, I like Beautiful Disease. But you mentioned something about Olivia killing Natalie and getting rid of the body. I won't lie to you. It kind of turned me on. Emma comes to the living room without a single drop of cloth and sits on Chris's lap. Emma, what are you talking about? Olivia, Chris was just telling me a story about a dangerous woman who sleeps with a girl in order to steal her boyfriend. She then kills her and fucks the boyfriend. It's titled Seductive Disease. To Chris, you didn't create the story now in a blink of an eye, did you? Emma, he probably did. To Chris, I missed you. I thought you left. Chris, I didn't go anywhere. Chris and Emma exchange soft kisses. Emma, what is she talking about, dangerous woman and stealing boyfriend? Chris, I have no clue. They exchange soft kisses. Olivia, not just stealing. It is also a story about murder. Emma, is she talking about murdering me and sleeping with you? Olivia, I won't lie to you. The thought of fucking you and killing you in cold blood have crossed my mind. Emma, Chris, does that mean I get to play a supporting role? Chris, softly down by her lips, you will never play a supporting role in my screenplays. You always get the top billing. They exchange intimate kisses. Emma, what do you have in mind? Chris, I don't know. Let me see. It's a story about a girl named Nicole who works at a fashion magazine, Vanity Fair, as a journalist. You play Nicole. She are assigned to interview Olivia here for the cover story. Nicole is dating a man named Kevin. He asks her to marry him. She accepts the proposal. Later, Nicole makes a surprise visit at his work, an advertisement agency, and catches Kevin cheating, having sex with his secretary. Note, if it's convenient, we will see Emma in the starring role as Nicole and Olivia plays the fictional version of herself. Chris, they break up. Nicole interviews Olivia. They quickly establish friendship. Olivia asks her to meet her at a bar and discuss about life off the record. They converse about their past without revealing a lot of secrets. They have few drinks, goes to a karaoke bar, sing and dance. They quickly become best friends in a beat of the heart. Olivia then invites her to a house party in Hollywood. Nicole meets a man named Joshua, a musician. It's love at first sight. Joshua asks her out. Nicole accepts without knowing he's Olivia's ex. She never mentioned him in the interview. Nicole also fell to do a research in Olivia's past. She just wanted to ask her the latest and didn't feel like digging Olivia's past. Nicole and Joshua have dinner, take a walk in a bridge, conversing, kiss, and make love at his house. Later, Nicole tells Olivia about Joshua. Olivia is not too happy about it, but she tells Nicole he's not a bad guy. Things just didn't work out between them for some reason. Nicole and Joshua continue to hit it off. In the meantime, Joshua writes her a song, Love You Till the Day I Die, and sings it live in front of thousands. We might use that as a title, Love You Till the Day I Die. In the meantime, the interview that she conducted with Olivia is published. There is a party, Vanity Fair. Olivia introduces Nicole to Kevin. She brings him to the party as her date. Nicole confronts Olivia she is just doing this to get even with her. Olivia admits she is still in love with Joshua, but that has nothing to do with it, why she is seeing Kevin. She likes him. Nicole just lets it go, whatever. They all mingle and have fun. Kevin tries to seduce Nicole, who still has a feeling for him. However, she tells him she has moved on and walks away. Meanwhile, Joshua continues to sweep Nicole off her feet. They leave the party, come home, and make love all night with all kinds of sexual positions. Later, Nicole and Olivia sit at a restaurant and talk about their differences. Olivia tells Nicole Joshua is not telling her everything. Nicole wonders what it is. Olivia tells her she should hear it from Joshua. Nicole meets Joshua at a romantic restaurant. She asks him what he is hiding from her. She wants the truth. Humorously, Joshua tells her Olivia was his wife. They had a fight. He then erased her from his memory like eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. Emma, you can't be serious. Chris, that is a joke. Joshua tells her he has a wife and a daughter in Paris. Olivia, he is a polygamist. Chris, I am kidding. What about? He tells her he has a terminal illness. Some kind of cancer. He doesn't have much time left. He should have told her when he met her. They get married. They visit beautiful places around the world. They make love every romantic city. He sings all kinds of love songs that he wrote for her in front of millions. She appears in every music video he does as his leading lady. Later, Joshua dies in his sleep while his head resting on Nicole's arm. She gives him a soft kiss on the lips as a tear rolls down on her cheek and falls on his face. The end. Emma, that is sad. Chris, let me look at an alternative ending. Joshua tells her he is a vampire. He has been around for thousands years. Olivia is a vampire as well. She was his wife. They invented a drug that allows them to walk in the daylight like regular people. He doesn't really drink blood. Olivia, a vampire, who does not drink a blood, is not a vampire. Chris, they drink blood but they create drugs that allows them to eat food as well. They only drink for a special occasion. Olivia, what's this? Twilight gone rogue? They have a small laughter. Chris, there is this movie that I saw Only Lovers Left Alive starring Tom Hiddleston and Tilda Swinton. Actually, I didn't see the movie. I only saw the trailer. But I looked at it online. Seductive Pain, Part 7. Chris, it is a story about two vampires Adam and Eve who are married for centuries. But they live half a world apart. Eve comes to visit Adam. They try to rekindle the romance. Yet her sister played by Mia Wasikowska arrives and turns everything upside down. In the end, they run out of blood. While contemplating what death is like, they see two lovers. They say, what choice do we have? Maybe the story is alright. But we can borrow few ideas here and there. Olivia and Joshua are lovers like Adam and Eve. They are also vampire. Joshua tells Nicole he's a vampire, so does Olivia. They were lovers. But now it's over. It's an ancient story. He loves her more than life itself. Let's make it more dangerous and seductive. Nicole tells that's cool. She doesn't care if he's a vampire or a werewolf, and asks him to turn her into a vampire. Joshua turns her into a vampire. They make love all day, go out in the night and drink blood as if they were back in style. Joshua tells her there is one rule. They must kill all their preys. No turning them into vampires. You know, if they turn them into vampires, the new bloodthirsty fiends will kill innocent people in order to survive, which could upset God. Regardless, Nicole and Joshua kill hundreds. Olivia is their best friend. She even joins them in threesome once in a while. Later, Olivia reminds Joshua he wasn't supposed to turn Nicole into a vampire. Joshua broke the number one rule. She says there might be punishment waiting for him. Joshua tells her no chastisement, punitive measures, torture, wrath, and suffering will change the love he has for Nicole but add more passion, devotion, fervor and retribution to his soul. Olivia tells him she stands by him no matter what. Nicole and Joshua travel around the world and continue to make love in every beautiful cities while drinking blood from all kind of beautiful people. Joshua likes to make love to beautiful girls and drinks their blood till they die. Nicole doesn't discriminate. She makes love to guys and girls and drinks their blood while making love to them. Later, they find out there are other vampires. They run into them in Paris. Their leader is John. He is dating Olivia. They invite Nicole and Joshua to an opera show. John tells Joshua he was not supposed to turn anyone into a vampire. They make an agreement with God. He is going to send his angels and kill all of them unless they kill Nicole. That is the law. In flashback, we see a war between angels and vampires. The angels destroy the vampires. Joshua is the only person who is standing to them. He kills a couple of angels. But angels that are led by Saint Michael are ruthless. All the vampires are surrendered except Joshua, who continues to fight the angels to his last breath. Saint Michael doesn't want to kill him for some reason. It could be a direct order from God. But he threatens to kill Olivia if he doesn't surrender in peace. Joshua finally surrenders. The vampires are told God has mercy on them. But they can't turn any human into a vampire. The punishment is death. We return from the flashback. John tells Joshua they will eradicate them. They can't offer to go to war with God. Joshua will not allow anybody touch Nicole. He warns John if anybody touches her, he will kill every vampire, saint, and angel he comes to contact, and they will know I am the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Maybe that's a little bit Pulp Fiction. But John gets the point. However, the vampires come in the middle of the night, takes both Nicole and Joshua like interview with the vampire. They put him in a prison cell. They can't kill Nicole with the sun like how they killed Kristen Dunst in Interview with the Vampire. She is adapted to solar whatever it might be. Instead, they crucify her on a cross and watch her bleed to death. Olivia can't stop them. Instead she opens the prison cell and frees Joshua. However, it is too late. Nicole dies on the cross. Joshua brings her down and cries over her body. He then kills all of them in revenge. He takes Nicole's body to a church and asks God he doesn't care about heaven or hell. He just wants Nicole back. He kisses her lips with his soul passionately. Miraculously, Nicole returns back to life. They kiss French. The end. Chris gives Emma a soft kiss. Emma, that's romantic. Chris, it's based on Interview with the Vampire. I kind of ran out of idea. I had to steal it from Anne Rice. Emma, I don't care. Just make love to me. They kiss French. Chris carries her and takes her to the bedroom, upstairs. On the soundtrack, No Ordinary Love by Sada plays. Int. Bedroom, night. Chris and Emma make love with no ordinary love. It's sensual. It's a lot of kissing. We stay with them, till the music winds out. Montage. On the soundtrack, I Want to Be Down by Brandy plays. Restaurant, Chris and Emma sit at a romantic restaurant outside, next to a lake, and have lunch, sushi and glasses of red wines. Chris and Emma visit the Getty Center. We see few interesting paintings. They talk between kisses and kiss French. UCLA, Chris watches Emma auditioning for an independent movie, no direction, open calls. She is doing it to get a kick out of the experience. It requires her to sing I Want to Be Down. Emma just does that. She nails it. The casting director John doesn't even say we'll call you. He's impressed by her performance and tells her she got the part at the spot. However, Emma tells him she's busy. Chris and Emma are just having fun. She takes Chris's arm. They leave the place while smiling, laughing, kissing, and joking. On the soundtrack, That's the Way Love Goes by Janet Jackson plays. Bank, Chris and Emma sit at a table and talk to the manager. Luxury cars dealership, Chris and Emma buy a new 2015 convertible Corvette and pay cash. Convertible, moving Chris is behind the wheel. Emma sits in the passenger seat. She is singing That's the Way Love Goes with Janet Jackson. She knows the lyrics. They're driving in the streets of Los Angeles. Pacific Ocean, Chris and Emma ride jet skis. Chris and Emma do scuba diving under the water. Chris and Emma swim in the middle of the ocean. They get closer and kiss French. Chris and Emma kiss in the sunset, lying on the shore as the water crash on the bodies like Burt Lancaster and Deborah Kerr in From Here to Eternity. EXT Emma's Malibu beach house, night. Chris and Emma come driving the Corvette and park the car in front of the house. Emma sits on his lap. They kiss in the car for long seconds. Int. Beach house, night. Chris and Emma enter the house and come to the living room while kissing. Jennifer Lawrence sits at the coffee table. She is watching Blue is the warmest color. Emma, hi Jenny. Jennifer, what's up? Emma, nothing much. To Chris, let me take a leak. She removes her underwear, places it in his pocket, kisses him French and goes to the restroom. Jennifer, hi I am Jennifer. Chris, I know who you are. Jennifer, it's weird. I don't have to introduce myself to anyone anymore. I'm beginning to get used to it. I guess that's a little price I have to pay for being an actress. Chris sits on a sofa. There is a silent moment. They watch the movie silently. She then. Jennifer, what's your name? Emma returns to the living room. Emma, his name is Chris. He is a writer. Emma walks to the private bar, grabs a scotch, black label, pours into 3 separate glasses and grabs the first 2 glasses and gives Chris and Jennifer the drink. She returns back to the private bar, grabs a drink for herself, comes to Chris and sits on his lap. Emma, what are you watching? Jennifer, Blue is the warmest color. Emma, what's it about? Jennifer, I don't know. It's in French. Emma, it has subtitle. Jennifer, I hate looking at subtitle. It's distracting. You miss the entire movie. Emma, to Chris, have you seen it? Chris, I saw it last year. Emma, what's it about? Jennifer, don't tell her. I am watching it. To Emma, I don't want you to ruin it. Emma, let's watch it from the beginning. Jennifer, no. It started almost an hour ago. Emma, such yourself. We will just have sex on the sofa while you are watching us. It's 3D. Emma gives Chris a juicy kiss, removes her dress and stands in her underwear, revealing her beautiful breasts. Jennifer, what's 3D? Emma, just pretend you are watching X-rated film in 3D as if we were some kind of hologram that come out of the screen and have sex on the sofa, except you can't change the channel. It's some kind of virtual reality. Jennifer, I don't get the joke. Emma, live pornography, sweetheart. Jennifer, am I allowed to join you? Emma, is that a trick question? Emma gets closer to Jennifer and kisses her lips seductively. They kiss more intimately as Chris watches them in wonder. Emma slips her lips alluringly, while biting Jennifer's lower lips softly, gets down with one knee, opens Jennifer's legs, caresses her thigh, kisses her vagina through Jennifer's underwear and slowly removes her underwear. Emma comes to Chris, puts Jennifer's underwear on his head and kisses him. Chris removes the underwear from his head, puts it aside, caresses Emma's neck and kisses her breasts. Chris then gets up from the couch. He removes his clothes and sits on the bigger sofa next to Jennifer and places Emma on his lap. Chris and Emma kiss more intimately. Emma, I told her about how you killed me and brought me back. She said she wanted to try it. Chris, it's dangerous. Jennifer removes all her clothes, gets closer and kisses his lips. Jennifer, seductively down by his lips, I want you to do it. They kiss French. Jennifer then kisses Emma. They are making out in threesome. Int. Bedroom, night. Emma lies on her back spreading her legs. Jennifer is giving her oral pleasure. Chris is behind Jennifer entering her doggy style. He then pulls her hair and kisses her lips. They make out in steamy threesome changing positions. It's straight pornography. Emma then gets up and brings a chain and a video camera from the closet. She gives the chain to Chris. He takes the chain and kisses Jennifer who is lying on her back. Chris, are you sure you want to do it? Jennifer, yes. Chris, you could die. Jennifer, you will bring me back, won't you? Chris, what if I can't? Jennifer, death is part of life. Chris, if you say so. Chris and Jennifer kiss more intimately. Chris caresses her neck, bites her breasts leaving teeth marks on her skin, goes down and gives her oral pleasure as Emma records them. Chris then lifts her left leg, puts it on his shoulder and fucks her with full speed. Jennifer lets out all kinds of sexual pleasure sound. Chris turns her around, puts the chain around Jennifer's neck and enters her behind sweetly. Jennifer is burning inside out with pure carnal pleasure. Chris then strangles her as he comes inside her. Jennifer's eyes fill with tears, and they fall down by the side of her face. She takes her last breath and dies in our hearts. Chris quickly turns her around, gives her CPR and chest compression. Jennifer is not responding. We are losing Jennifer's forever. Panic hits Chris like a bucket of water. Emma continues to record everything. Chris regains control of the situation, breathes in Jennifer's mouth, CPR, and presses her chest rhythmically as if he has done it a million times and brings Jennifer back to life. He almost lost her for eternity. Jennifer takes a deep breath. Chris wipes out the sweat from his forehead. Emma gets closer to Jennifer recording. Emma, say something if you are still alive. Jennifer, where am I? Emma, planet Earth. Chris, are you okay? Jennifer puts her arms around Chris and kisses him passionately. They kiss more intimately. Jennifer, I am in love with him. Emma, did you have orgasm? Jennifer touches her vagina. Jennifer, a major orgasm. I think I also pee on the bed. Emma, don't worry about it. I will change the bed sheet. Emma gives the camera to Chris and kisses Jennifer softly. Chris records them. Emma parts her lips from Jennifer and kisses Chris. They kiss French. Chris puts the video camera on the bed. Jennifer grabs the camera. But she is too tired to get up. She just lies and records them. Talking between soft kisses. Chris, let's not do it anymore. Emma, why not? Chris, this is not a game. Thing could go wrong. You might die and I may never bring you back. Emma, you are not going to strangle me? Chris, not now. Maybe never ever. I love you at the core of my soul. It's painful even to lose you for 1 second. Emma, seductively down by his lips, just make love to me. They kiss passionately. He then bends her right by Jennifer who remains lying on the bed exhausted and enters her behind, doggy style. On the soundtrack, music plays. Emma lets out all kinds of sexual sounds in pleasure. Jennifer records Emma in close-up. Chris then pulls her hair and kisses her French. They kiss more lasciviously. Emma lies on her back while her head resting on Jennifer's belly. Chris gets between her legs, lifts her right leg, puts it on his shoulder and enters her. He hits it supernaturally. Emma continues to let out sex sounds like a porn star. Chris increases the speed yet continues to enter her sweetly. He then kisses her lips and comes inside her. Emma has reached multiple climax. Chris falls on Emma out of breath. She pulls his hair and kisses him. They kiss French. They then part their lips and lie next to Jennifer who is lying on the bed and recording, right and left. Jennifer then gets on top of Chris and kisses him. They kiss intimately with tongues. We take it with overhead shot. Int. Emma's Beach's house, living room, night. On the stereo, Self-Control by Laura Branigan play. Emma dances nude while singing. Jennifer sits on the sofa nude as well. She is smoking weed while recording Emma with the video camera. On the television, the new James Bond movie, Spectre, is playing without a sound. Jennifer is a little bit high but looks super relaxed. Chris is in the kitchen making ravioli. Emma then comes to the sofa dancing, takes the weed from Jennifer and has puffs as she continues to dance. Emma looks at the movie. Emma, isn't she the same girl from Blue Color? Jennifer, Lee Seydoux. Emma, what's the other girl name? Jennifer, Adele. Emma, she is gorgeous. She sits next to Jennifer. They talk between puffing the weed. Jennifer, I love French movies. It's like out-of-body experience. They should bring the French writers to Hollywood and make them write for us. I felt a fool doing the Hunger Games after watching Blue is the warmest color. Emma, Chris is an amazing writer. I read some of his scripts. He is from a different planet. Jennifer, is he the one who wrote The Girl Behind My Immortality? Emma, yeah. We were working on a new story together. You know, spying on my cousin's ex, following him around and photographing him. He then went down with one knee and proposed to her. I decided to leave them alone. Wait a second. I want you to record us. Chris wrote this amazing screenplay for me titled Curve Sort of Wanted To. In the script, James McAvoy is supposed to shave my vagina, put a ring on my clitoris and eat me out. I play Pussycat, one of the deadliest assassins in the world. I was going to wait, do it when the camera rolls and capture the moment during the shooting. But million things could go wrong during filming. Besides, they are delaying it. I will record it and give the video to Ted. I have already brought a brand new shaving blade, a needle, and a ring. You are going to record us? I'll be right back. Emma goes to the bathroom. The camera stays with Jennifer. She takes a puff and looks at Chris, who continues to cook while placing all kinds of spices in the food. On the stereo, Superstition by Stevie Wonder plays. Jennifer continues to check him out in a state of dream. Chris catches her eyes. She gives him a soft, beautiful smile. She is in love with him. He gives her a wink. Jennifer, what are you making? Chris, shrimp ravioli. Jennifer, it smells good. Is it done? Chris, almost. Chris resumes cooking. Jennifer turns her attention back to the movie. Yet Jennifer can't help it. She turns her eyes and looks at Chris at the kitchen. It's part of the living room. He catches her eyes again. Jennifer, I think I am in love with you. Chris just smiles softly. He doesn't know what to say. Emma returns to the living room with shaving blade, cream, and needles and places them on the coffee table. She comes to Chris. Emma, Chris. Emma gets closer and gives him a sweet French kiss. They kiss more intimately. Emma, softly down by his lips. I want you to pierce my clitoris and put a ring on it. Jennifer will record it. Chris, are you sure? Emma, what do you mean? They exchange soft kisses. Chris, I thought you would never do it. Emma, why did you think that? They exchange soft kisses. Chris, I just wrote it to get your attention. Emma, you got my attention. They kiss French. Emma, Ted thought it was too graphic. I just want to do it anyway and show him the video in order to lure him. He is producing the film. You know, it's kind of a private screening. They exchange soft kisses. Chris, you want me to do it now? Emma, yes. They kiss French longer. He turns off the stove, she takes his arm, and they come to the living room. Chris, you got the shaving cream. Emma, I got everything. Chris pulls the coffee table aside, creating more space. Chris, sit on the sofa. Emma sits on the sofa and spreads her legs. Chris grabs the shaving cream, places the soap on his hand and applies on Emma's pubic hair suavely. Chris puts the shaving cream aside, grabs the shaving blade and shaves the pubic hair from Emma's vagina slowly. Jennifer records it. Chris finishes shaving and cleans fuse soap on Emma's vagina with a small towel. Jennifer, you have one of the most beautiful vaginas I have ever seen. Emma, thanks. Jennifer, it looks like Angelina Jolie's lips. Emma, that's the best compliment I've ever got about my vagina. Jennifer, to Chris, doesn't she have one of the most beautiful vaginas in the world? Chris, the sweetest ever. Jennifer, I just wanted to French kiss it. Chris grabs the needle. Emma, as long as it looks like Angelina Jolie's lips, I won't ever complain. Jennifer, talking about Angelina, I saw By the Sea. Emma, I heard it's painful. Jennifer, it's a total departure from Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They were looking at a couple having sex through this thin hole. I got claustrophobia and couldn't watch it. Besides, they don't show you anything. Emma, what is it about? Jennifer, Angelina Jolie and her writer husband come to a beautiful town in the Mediterranean. She is depressed for some unknown reason. He is a drunk. Things are not going well. She gets up the sofa. Emma, interrupted her, give me the camera. Let me record you. Jennifer gives Emma the camera and sits on the sofa nude. Emma records her. Jennifer, anyway, they are growing apart. Vanessa, played by Angelina, is trying to discover new passion or rekindle the love that she has in her heart, which is about to be extinguished like a candle in the rain. It's a teardrop away to take the flame out of the candle and send her into eternal darkness. As a matter of fact, she is in dark places. The light has already extinguished long time ago by lightning and thunderstorm, hurricane of chaos, confusion, tears of pain and chemical imbalance in the brain caused by pills. But Vanessa is trying to light the candle back with a match of faith while it is raining like hell in her heart. I might have exaggerated it a little bit, maybe a lot. But she is lost beyond the sea. Vanessa then discovers a small hole in her room. She begins to watch two French couple, who live next room, having sex through the hole. It reawakens her sexuality. Yet, there is nothing she can really do about it. However, it draws her closer to her husband Roland, played by Brad Pitt. He joins her in her little voyeurism adventure through the tiny hole and begins to connect with her. But it depresses me. I'm kind of a claustrophobic. I hate holes. I do not mind if it were a keyhole or the hole was in the middle of the wall or higher where Vanessa can stand and finger herself or Ronald fucks her behind while she is watching the French couple having sex. But they had it in the bottom. I found myself lying on the floor with Angelina and looking at the hole. It hurt my neck. I began to contemplate a plot of my own. There is a promising fantasy scene at the beginning of the movie, which kind of captured my imagination, when Vanessa tries to envision the couple next door having sex while she is lying on the bed. She should have touched herself or done something dramatic, or use a vibrator to give the film some kind of climatic scene. It doesn't really matter. They should just get rid of the entire whole scenes and just use fantasies here and there. As a matter of fact, they should rewrite everything from scratch or maybe keep it as it is and add a couple of flashbacks that show happier days that Vanessa and Ronald had spent. Angelina might want to include a wedding scene, romantic outings and sex that they have interesting places and few secrets that she might have, an affair with a total stranger and passionate sex scenes, and fantasies like Eyes Wide Shut starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Roland also cheated on her. He confesses everything to her, but she kept her secret to herself. The movie should be told with series of flashbacks. Or perhaps that is just played out in the background. Vanessa and Ronald are in French Riviera and live in a room next to interesting French couple who are always fucking like two wild cats as if they invented sex. Vanessa is depressed by what Ronald has told her even though she has kept her infidelity to herself. You know, this is the fun part about being a woman, we can fuck 10 guys behind our boyfriends. They'd never find out about it. But if they fuck even one girl behind us, not only would we catch them soon or later, but we also can't live with it, and if we don't do something about it, we'd hate ourselves. We then quickly plot our revenge and get even till the score is 11-1 and going more. It's the same thing. In order to get even, Vanessa fucks the Frenchman and told Ronald about it. But she admits it's only physical. She is still in love with him. Ronald forgives her due to the fact that he had made mistakes in the past. They make love free of guilt. Later, the French girl seduces Ronald. Some old habits die hard. Ronald has sex with her and tells Vanessa that he fucked the French girl as well. They have a physical fight. She hits him. He slaps her. She scratches his face with her nails. He pulls her hair and slaps her more. She bites him. Unlike Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it is a realistic fight. Vanessa throws everything at him screaming, crashing and yelling while crying like a teenager. Ronaldo tries to calm her. She hits him. She doesn't want to be comforted. She just wants to fight. Vanessa asks Ronald to slap her hard, punch her, whatever it's, to get it out of his system while she is hitting him. He couldn't hit her. Ronald thinks she is crazy. But Vanessa won't let it go. She crushes his mother. He slaps her hard. She tells him your mother can slap better than that. She spits on his face. That does it. He beats the hell out of her like how Leonard hit Carrie Ann Moss in Memento. That's PG. Maybe the daylights out of her. She is bleeding from her nose. She mocks him. Is that all you got, bitch? Vanessa turns into a monster and attacks Ronald with everything she got. It's unscripted, real fight. They then kiss passionately, rip each other clothes savagely and make love till dawn as if they were made of fire. It's the best sex they have ever had in their lives. Later, they sit in the bathtub and agree to have fun, not to take things too personal. But there is still something missing from Vanessa's life. She asks him what's next. That's when Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice starring Natalie Wood comes to the picture, a mate-sharing foursome. They call it swinging. Whatever it's, Vanessa and Ronald swap partners with the French couple. They have sex with their new partners in 2 separate rooms or they do it in one bedroom 4 of them together like Celebrity starring Leonardo DiCaprio. It depends on Angelina. She then confesses all of her secrets to Ronald as we see them in flashbacks. Or she just keeps it to herself. They just go home and start new. Emma, that is a hell of way to criticize a movie. You should be a fucking writer. Jennifer, I would have just watched and kept it to myself. I was seized by phobia of the hole. It's near the floor. I was telling myself they were not going to look through that stupid hole and they kept looking through the hole. I started to create a story inside my head just to get it over. Emma, did you tell Angelina about it? Jennifer, no, I didn't. I felt I shouldn't say anything. You know, it's her baby project. She wrote and directed it. It does not really matter how bad the movie is. It's learning experience. But to be honest, it kind of throws me away. I used to watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith whenever I get stress. The movie is okay. But I still don't know what it's really about. But Angelina and Brad had beautiful chemistry. I had always envied it. You know, getting in a fight, kissing, making out, and shooting bad guys. I modeled my state of mind based on that chemistry. Life is madness. But after I watched by the sea, all of the sudden, I got this weird feeling inside my belly. This can't be real. If things could change like that in 10 years, I have to pour out my heart, give everything I have and leave nothing for chance. A lot of people don't understanding me. They see me on talk shows. Here come that crazy cheerful bitch. What did she smoke today or what drug did she take? It better not be ecstasy. I can't look at old interviews I had with David Letterman. I am not embarrassed by them. But it's an act, or rather it's a defensive mechanism. It just comes out of me naturally. I am nothing like that, you know, happy-go-lucky. But I don't mind dancing in the street of New York City for an hour with Happy by Pharrell. David describes me the best. He said, her motto should be don't mistake my sense of alive fun for a lack of seriousness. But that will never be my motto. I can act serious in front of a camera at any given day. But I am incapable of being serious in real life. The delight is part of me. Even though I just said it was a defense mechanism, it is who I'm. Perhaps sometimes I can be a bitch. I think schizophrenic is the best word that can describe me the best. I do not know who and what I am. Humorously, I should wear a t-shirt that says, I am a schizophrenic prostitute. Fuck me or leave me the fuck alone. But seriously, I am not a prostitute. I'm a sexual girl like Amy. But that's a different story. You know, I just don't want to be caught up in a mindless scandal. At the same time, I won't lie to you. I love the attention. Not the paparazzi. I hate them with vengeance. But posing for magazine like Elle, In Style, Vanity Fair, and Vogue and various entertainments magazine and posters. Maybe writers like Chris would notice me and get inspired. You know, I am not a fucking role model. I have problem of my own. I fall in love easily, get hurt and bleed monthly like every bitch who can't tell the difference between right and wrong. I am an artist. I have to save myself before I save the world. You know, I love sex. I don't mind being nude in front of a camera and doing raw sex scenes as long as I find the right project. You know, Jennifer is on top of the world, a porn. That's a joke. However, I might have said things like women should get paid equally like men, but I do not care. I would have done them for free. Art has no monetary value. You know, at least I am not standing on a UN podium, addressing gender equality like Hermione Granger. I might sound egoistic sometimes. But is that a bad thing? I have to work harder than God in order to back up my ego. They say, genius or luck is 1%. 99% is hard work. Whatever it is. My conscience doesn't even allow me to say common thing like that. It doesn't matter whether it's a man or a woman. I like creating a sense of competition, always push myself over the limit. Hollywood is a dream for those who don't know what they're doing. It's a business for those who just want to make money. It's personal or documentary for those who wants to be taken seriously and spread message whatever social and political views they have. It's a lifestyle for those who get up in the morning, go to work, read scripts, memorize them just as they are written and do their parts without getting caught up in the moment. It's the pursuit of happiness for those who want to get cute. But for some of us, it's a spell. Whoever created us and placed fire in our soul wanted us to do nothing but make movies. Set the bar higher than ever, push boundaries and take it to the next level. When directors say, action, I give 1000% and always get lost in my characters. I don't even have time for boyfriend or family. Film is my family. Film is my father. Film is my mother. Film is my brother. Film is my sister. I breathe film. Hearing my heart beating like a drum when I am about to do something exciting has become instinct. Worrying about what I am going to do next is almost second nature. I'm the best thing ever happened to this fucking world is my motto. I know they will be talking about me generation to come more than Jesus Christ and Merlin Streep. Honestly, I don't really give a fuck. I just want to have fun doing what I love to do, what I am passionate about and goes out on top. Emma, that's terrifying. But I might give you a competition for going out on top. I am a loose cannon bitch. I play unfair. You can ask Chris. The devil has nothing on me. Jennifer, give me the camera. I want to ask you a couple of questions. Emma, is it sex lie and videotape? Emma gives Jennifer the camera and sits on the sofa. Jennifer, everybody used to talk about it when I was in high school. But I have never seen it. She begins to records her. Emma, it's about a guy who interviews women about their sexual experience and fantasies while recording them. Jennifer, what is your sexual fantasy? Emma, I am a freak. If I weren't an actress, I would have been a porn star. Jennifer, have you seen XXX movie? Emma, who hasn't seen pornography? Jennifer, I never seen any. Emma, get the fuck out of here. We sat and watched Shame together. Jennifer, that's not pornography. Pornography is when the guy comes on girl's face or put his dick in her ass. Wait. I just gave away myself, Didn't I? Emma, don't be ashamed. I used to watch porn in high school and wet myself. Jennifer, Amy said it's addictive. Emma, what's it between you and Amy? Jennifer, we are just friend. Emma, are you fucking her? Jennifer, no, I am not a lesbian. To Chris, do you watch porn? Chris, I used to watch it in fast forward. I think I am like Emma. I am always in the mood for sex. Jennifer, to Emma, have you ever had sex with two guys at the same time like chasing Amy? It doesn't have to be sandwiched. Just a regular sex with two guys. Emma, I have fantasized about it but no. I might try it in the future. But I'd love to do it in a movie, sex with two guys. Chris, why do you think about a girl falling in love with two boys? She couldn't make up her mind whom she wanted to be with. She ends up sleeping with both of them simultaneously. Yet, she slightly favors the cute one emotionally. She is in love with him. He is sweet and sensitive. She gets lost whenever she makes love to him, and reaches beautiful orgasm. However, she can't get enough of the other guy sexually. He is a sex machine. They are match made in hell. He fucks her like animal. She doesn't back down either. Yet, she gets her climax and deep orgasm through threesome. It's like Threesome, the film starring Lara Flynn Boyle, Stephen Baldwin, and Josh Charles. Unlike Threesome, they go to a distance. Can you build a story around what I just told you? Seductive Pain, Part 8. Chris, sure. We will work on it together when I have free time. I am kind of a little bit busy at the moment. Emma, take your time. Jennifer, I'm jealous of you. It's unfair you get to have sex with two guys. Emma, it's you who brought it. Jennifer, did you just come up with the story now? Emma, it's not much of a story. I just thought about Madonna making love to a sensitive boy and having sex with a fuck machine in Reservoir Dogs. The only twist I had is threesome. Jennifer, but that's not how you described it. You were talking about falling in love, match made in hell and deep orgasm. I can rewind it and show you the video. That's your Oscar, bitch. Emma, it doesn't mean anything. Jennifer, I want to play your best friend. Emma, it's up to him. I am not a writer. Jennifer, I am kidding. I don't want any part of it. It's your story. Live out your fantasy to the fullest. Humorously, I don't want to steal the spotlight away from you. Emma, nobody steals spotlight away from me. The word spotlight is invented for me before I was even born in quantum retrocausality. It's a matter of time. I will take Hollywood by storm. Jennifer, what is quantum retrocausality? Emma, according to Chris, it's when the future affect the present. Jennifer, to Chris it's amazing. I don't know where you get your ideas. Quantum retrocausality, strangling and piercing. Do you get up in the morning and say I am going to fuck with people's minds? Emma, he just dreams about them in the night. Chris, it's the devil that makes me do it. Jennifer, you are a beautiful psycho. Emma, anyway, we haven't forgotten getting my clitoris pierced, have we? To Jennifer, make sure you got everything. Jennifer, I will film it. Emma spreads her legs. Emma, to Chris I am ready. Chris grabs the needle. Chris, are you sure? It will hurt like a bitch. It's like losing your virginity. Emma, it didn't hurt when I lost my virginity. Jennifer, just wait a minute. I want to ask you one last question. Whom did you lose your virginity? Emma, to some dickhead in high school. His name is John. I thought I was in love with him. I read few article about how to lose your virginity in the internet. They said if you relaxed or loved the person that you were giving it to, it wouldn't hurt. We kissed a little bit. He torn my hymen and entered me. I didn't really feel any pain like I anticipated. What about you? Jennifer, I lost it to this boy named Matthew. He is sweet. First, I couldn't wait to lose it. Then at the last minute, I got self-conscious. I loved him. But did I want to spend the rest of my life with him? Have his baby and all that bullshit? I knew I wanted to be an actress since I was a little girl. It sounds arrogant. But I always felt a sense of it, girl. Maybe, it is the whiskey is speaking behalf of me. Anyway, it is not really peer pressure. But for some reason I just wanted to get over with it. My brain splits into various characters like a schizophrenic. I said to myself I'm ready. I want to do it. I did it. I felt no pain. I knew my virginity was gone in vain and promised me it would never return again. Emma, that rhymes like lemon pie, but were you on the bottom or on top? Jennifer, I was on the bottom. Missionary. What about you? Emma, it's missionary as well, but if I could go back in time and do it again. Looks at Chris, I would have lost it to Chris doggy style. I am ready. Let's get over with it. Emma gets up from the sofa, gives him an erotic French kiss, sits back on the sofa and spreads her legs. Jennifer records them. Chris, I have a confession to make. Emma, what is it? Chris, I have never done this before. Emma, it's not a big deal. You are not doing heart surgery. It's like piercing ear. Just do it slowly. Chris, sure. Emma, wait. Let me wet myself a little bit. Emma begins to finger herself, rubbing her clitoris like a nymphomaniac. On the soundtrack, Love to Love You Baby by Donna Summer plays. Chris, I got it. Chris gets between her legs, stimulates her clitoris with his tongue and gives her a quick oral pleasure. Emma grabs his head against her vagina as she reaches climax. She takes a deep breath. Emma, I need that. Chris kisses Emma's clitoris softly and pierces it slowly. Emma lets out a small scream like Sandy in Grease, but she handles the sting like a pro. Her clitoris bleeds just a little bit. Chris cleans the blood with a small towel and places the ring on her clitoris. He gives her a little bit oral pleasure and kisses her lips. Emma puts her arms around him. They kiss French. Emma, I want you to make love to me. They kiss more passionately. Chris then caresses her neck and gets between Emma's legs and enters her as they begin to have sexual intercourse on the floor. Jennifer continues to record them. Chris then bends her against the sofa and enters her doggy style. Emma makes all kinds of sexual sounds. Chris is hitting it like a natural-born killer. He then pulls her hair and comes inside her. They both fall down on the floor. Emma gets on top of him and kisses him lasciviously. He is out of breath. She lies next to him on the floor. Jennifer continues to records them with overhead shot. Chris, you might get infection. They kiss French. Chris, let me get the scotch. Chris collects all of his strength, gets up and walks to the private bar. Chris grabs a bottle of whiskey, returns to Emma, opens the top and pours the liquor on her clitoris just a little bit. Emma, it burns like a witch. Give it to me. Chris gives her the bottle. Emma has a sip and puts it aside. She lies on the floor and touches the ring on her clitoris. Jennifer, how does it feel? Emma, it felt wonderful. He fucked the daylight out of me. That's what I call real sex. I felt every penetration inside my vagina. Jennifer, I am talking about the piercing. Emma, it feels sexy. She spreads her legs and shows it to her. Jennifer, it looks seductive. Emma, I might get a real rose tattoo after the filming. Jennifer, what tattoo are you talking about? Emma, in the screenplay curve that he wrote, I am supposed to get a rose tattoo just above my vagina. She touches down by her belly where the tattoo is supposed to be. But it's going to be a fake tattoo. Yet, I am considering getting a real rose tattoo as soon as I am done filming. First, I have to show Ted the video and get a green light. You know, they have Vincent shooting heroin in Pulp Fiction and say it's cool and all. But they see a girl getting piercing on her clitoris, they totally freak out as if it were the end of the world. Jennifer, to Chris, I want to get piercing too. To Emma, do you have an extra ring? Emma, imitating Mia in Pulp Fiction, you can use my needle. I don't have cooties. Of Jennifer's look, I'm fucking with you. I brought few. There are on the coffee table. She gets up, grabs a needle and gives it to Jennifer. Jennifer, I don't mind using your shaving blade if it's the only one you have in the house. But I am assuming you have kept a couple of new shaving blades in the bathroom to shave your legs and the hair on your armpits? Emma, I have plenty. I will be right back. Emma goes upstairs to get a new shaving blade. Jennifer puts down the camera and the needle on the coffee table, gets closer to Chris and kisses him. They kiss intimately. Jennifer, what are you thinking? Chris, a lot of things. They exchange soft kisses. Jennifer, I'm told you're a genius. Chris, I am cursed. Jennifer, what makes you think you are cursed? They exchange soft kisses. Chris, I have no peace of mind whatsoever. Jennifer, what do you need peace for? Chris, I need a sense of peace in order to write. Jennifer, you don't really need that stupid peace. It's myth. None of us have it. You just need a little bit chaos in your soul and make things happen out of blue. They exchange soft kisses. Chris, softly by her lips, are you sure? Jennifer, trust me. They are talking between soft kisses. Chris, there is a living breathing devil inside my brain. Jennifer, I noticed it. But don't feel bad. I have one of those too. It's occupational hazard. They exchange juicy soft kisses. Chris, it kind of scares me. Jennifer, we are supposed to be frightened. If it doesn't scare us, it's not art. Chris, that makes sense. Jennifer, nothing exists without some sort of purpose. It's law of existence. Chris, do crazy people know they are crazy? Jennifer, what do you think? Chris, I know I am crazy. But does knowing you are crazy make you sane or less crazy? Jennifer, less crazy. Sanity doesn't exist. Chris, sometimes, your mind puts you in the situation where you have to declare war against yourself. It feels like you have to rebel even though you are born a king. Fire when you are water. Jennifer, it's like Jesus Christ turning water to wine. Chris, no, I don't mean it like that. Let's try it on thee and see if it works like charm. You become a rebel like Joan of Arc when you are a princess. Flesh and blood when you are a spirit. Fire when you are H20. A teardrop when you are air. She smiles in beauty. Jennifer, you are something. They exchange soft kisses. Chris, what do you want? Jennifer, write me something like blue is the warmest color. I need someone to kiss and make love to me from beginning to end. Someone to fall in love head over heels, and cry like Adele the French girl. But it has to be a man. A girl falls in love with a boy. He is an artist. She is a medical student and works for WebMD writing health-related articles online. Or maybe she is a singer. She starts out singing at clubs, gets a break and becomes a star. Or perhaps she's a writer. She's writing her first novel. She is like a little girl when she is with him, and might wet the bed with excitement just dreaming about his eyes even though he is lying next to her. They make love day and night. He does her nude portrait while she is smoking cigarette. Later, they have a fight. They break up. She is hurt and cries like a little girl. Inspired by true love, she pens down her first novel. In the end, they put their different aside and get back together. They make love and live happily ever after. Something NC-17. I will produce and direct it myself. Chris, softly by her lips, what about she is an astrophysicist and working on her PhD in extra dimensions. She meets a man named Ethan from another planet. Ethan is not telling her he came from billion light years away. They embark in a passionate sexual relationship while she is working on extra dimensions, writing formula. And the government is building a gate that allows them to access hidden dimensions based on her formula. Ethan helps her with her homework. She then finds out not only he is from another planet, but he is also running from the law. He killed a man who raped and murdered his girlfriend. The government from his planet sent 2 men to bring him back in peace. You also discovers his girlfriend looks exactly like you. He does not want to apart from you ever. Jennifer, that's sweet. But I don't really like too much science fiction. It doesn't allow me to express a lot of emotions and show my range. I am a very emotional person. I live and bleed on emotions. But I would still love to do it. Just write it down. I will do it for the sake of variety. Ironically, I love to watch science fiction like Back to the Future. Chris, don't sweat it. I might have used the same plot, a man losing his wife and traveling to a plant and meet a woman who looks exactly like his wife. Till I think something original. What do you think about playing Lauren Clayton based on Michael Clayton? I just watched it last night. I was thinking about you the entire film. They could have easily rewritten it for female. Yet since George Clooney's performance is flawless. Instead, I created another story in the back of my mind while watching the film, like how you created By the Sea earlier. Lauren is a fixer New York City law firm like Michael Clayton. Yet she just graduated from law school and chooses that line of profession. A wealthy client named Richard is in trouble. He is the owner and CEO of a famous pharmaceutical company called Biotopia, estimate $200 billion in total assets. Note, if it's convenient, we will see Jennifer in the lead role. Chris, Lauren is called to take care of a Russian model named Sophia who just got OD and lying naked at Richard's beautiful multimillion condo in New York City. Lauren finds her unconscious. She quickly arranges the girl to be taken to a hospital. Yet, at the hospital, Dr. John tells her Sophia has fallen into a deep coma and might not come out of it. She is brain dead. They give her 5% chance to regain consciousness. Dr. Johns adds they should have brought Sophia right away. Lauren tells Dr. Johns she will take care of the bill, keep her alive. Sophia's Russian relatives and friend come to the hospital. They are told she might not wake up. Lauren looks at Sophia's cell phone and finds out Boris was the last person that she contacted. Boris is Sophia's cousin. Lauren has few words with Boris at the hospital while pretending to be Sophia's friend. He tells her not only did he see Sophia leaving with Richard, but she also sent him pictures of the condo, expensive paintings, sculptures, electronic devices, etc. and scenic side of New York City. Boris then says he will sue Richard. Lauren calls her boss Amanda, played by Julia Roberts, and tells her the news. Amanda meets with Jason, Richard's manager. They agree to give Sophia's family $12 million quietly. Lauren is dating David. He is a lawyer. She meets him at a romantic restaurant. They have dinner and make love. They sit in bathtub and talk about their future together, but she keeps the news to herself. In the meantime, unrelated incident, group of people file a class action lawsuit against Biotopia for $5 billion for Tipitin, the blockbuster drug, used to treat depression, which caused cancer, stroke, and kidney failure. They are represented by a young lawyer named James. He is Lauren's ex-boyfriend. The firm that Lauren is working for take the case led by Veronica played by Angelina Jolie to represent Biotopia. Veronica is the equivalent of Karen Crowder played by Tilda Swinton in Michael Clayton. She plays unfair. Veronica finds about the incident between Sophia and Richard. She thinks it could ruin her client's image. In the other hand, Lauren, who felt guilty about everything, comes to the hospital to see Sophia. Amazingly, Sophia has shown progress. Her family and friends say they heard her talking in her sleep. Dr. John tells Lauren it's a miracle. He has never seen anything like this. Sophia might come out of coma sooner than he expected. He gives her from almost none to 65%. Yet, Veronica contacts two men Robert and Jeremiah and order them to get rid of them. They kill Sophia and make it look like she dies of brain seizure. Lauren is told Sophia died of natural cause due to the trauma. However, she doesn't believe them. Lauren thinks it's related to the case. Robert and Jeremiah then kill Boris and destroy the body with acid. There is no trace of him. Lauren tries to contact him in vain. Yet she is told he's missing. Robert and Jeremiah then begin to follow Lauren. Later, Lauren visits Amy, her sister, whose 6-year-old son, Tim, is diagnosed with rare blood disease called splood. It's one of its kind. Amy needs close to $200,000 for a medical bill to drain out his entire blood and replace it with new blood. Lauren promises her she will get the money as soon as possible. A man named Patrick who is representing Biotopia tells her his client, Richard and Biotopia, are manufacturing Camexit to treat anxiety disorder, which causes kidney failure and various cancer. They add dangerous and illegal solution called Profen for the sole purpose of profit. So people get sick and pay other expensive drugs and stay in medication. Patrick adds you take a pill for headache or stress, you end up suffer from kidney failure. If you are lucky, you get kidney donation from a relative. However, you have to buy a ton of pills to keep your new kidney functioning. That is just only the side effects. The Profen that they put in drugs also causes cancer. You don't want to know how many pills you need to take to fight cancer unsuccessfully. This is additional information. Not only might it lead Biotopia to be out of business, shut down, permanently, but also the government could brought a criminal charge against those who have involved in the act. They will face prison time and heavy penalties. Patrick tells her he is building a case to expose Biotopia. Lauren asks him who provided him the information. Patrick says he can't tell her. It is for the safety of the individual. In meantime, Robert and Jeremiah have been listening to the conversation and recording. Later, they play it to Veronica. She tells them to take care of Patrick. Robert and Jeremiah kill Patrick and make it look like a suicide. Lauren is sad by the news of Patrick's death. She knows it has to do with the case. Laura runs into James by accident. They sit at a coffee shop and talk about the case. He tells her Biotopia is settling the lawsuit for $3.5 billion. He might get rich and will send her a rose each day. He missed her a lot. She missed him too. They make love. Laura tells him about Camexit. James says he needs some kind of evidence. He will sue them for every penny they are worth. Lauren breaks into Patrick's apartment in the middle of the night and looks for verification that might help her settle some score. She finds a copy of confidential Biotopia's document and a name Antony. She suspects Antony is the person who provided Patrick with the information. In the meantime, two police come to arrest her. Lauren quickly hides in the closet and eventually escapes through the fire exit. Lauren runs a background check on Antony with the aid of her cousin Luke, a hacker. She finds out who Antony is and where he lives and work. Lauren contacts Antony. He tells her Camexit causes kidney failure, liver disease, and cancer. But that is the tip of the iceberg. Biotopia is manufacturing antidepressants Tipiton, Strex, and Upetone and failure to report safety dosage about the leading heart disease drug cardio, which lead to all sorts of cancers and stroke. Robert and Jeremiah, who are now following Lauren and have been recording the conversation, inform Veronica the latest, new finding. Lauren is about to show Amanda, her boss, what she has discovered. Amanda tells her not to worry about it. Not big a deal. She has known about it. Instead, Amanda has already renewed Lauren's contract and gives her $200,000 bonus, which she needs to pay for Tim's, her sister's son, medical bill. Lauren realizes they all are trying to bury it, there is a conspiracy. And feels she should take it easy. Lauren takes the check and gives it to Amy. While visiting little Tim at the hospital, Lauren gets a call to meet a hit-and-run client named Roger somewhere in North New York. The two hitmen follows her. When she gets there, there is nobody is inside the house but the dead body of Antony. Lauren knows they are going to kill her. It's a setup. She grabs her gun from her car and hides in the house. Robert and Jeremiah get out of the car. 4 more hitmen arrive at the house and join them. They come after her. Lauren and the bad guys have a well-scripted shootout like LA Confidential. Lauren kill all of them. Yet, Robert is alive. He is shot in the dick. Lauren points a shotgun at him and steps on his dick. He screams in pain. She asks him who is behind it. Robert tells her it's Veronica. She knows it's her. Lauren just wants to make sure she hits the nail on the head. Lauren tells Robert to call Veronica and informs her that she is killed. Robert hesitates to do so. Lauren steps on his wound. He screams in agony. He has no choice but to make the call. Robert tells Veronica that Lauren is dead. They took care of the business. Things went accordingly. Lauren then shoots Robert in the head and takes him out of his misery. At a Biotopia's board meeting, Veronica and Biotopia reaches agreement with James and plaintiffs' representatives of the class action lawsuit settlement for $3.2 billion. Veronica then comes to the ladies' room after she got a call by a videotape of Sophia and Richard. It's fake, in order to get Veronica's undivided attention. Lauren is waiting for her. She tells Veronica she has a disc that ruins Biotopia. She will forgive her the role Veronica had in Patrick, Antonio, and Sophia's murder, lying, cheating, stealing, corruption and trying to have her killed as well. She has forgiven her. Let bygones be bygones. However, Lauren tricks her into offering her $5 billion for the disc and for her silence. Veronica threatens to have Lauren killed again. That was just the beginning. It's not over. Veronica says she will go after Lauren's sister Amy, her nephew Tim and every person she knows in the planet, including David and James that she has been screwing. Veronica adds Lauren doesn't know who she is fucking with. She is on her. However, Lauren has been recording the conversation. The FBI storm in the ladies' room and arrest Veronica. Later, Veronica makes a deal with the DA. And gives them Biotopia in a plate. Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act and the government under the False Claims Act file a criminal charge against Biotopia for prompting Camoxid that causes kidney failure, liver disease and cancer and manufacturing of drugs for false uses, including the antidepressants Tipiton, Strax, and Upetone, failure to report safety dosage about the leading heart diseases drug cardio, reporting false prices to government healthcare programs, and bribery. A lot of people and CEOs are arrested. Biotopia plead not guilty for all charges. They hire David to represent them. In the other hand, Lauren visits Tim who got new blood at the hospital. He is alive. Amy thanks her sister. Lauren leaves the hospital with a sense of pride in her eyes, gets in her convertible and drives in the street of New York free of worries. The end. Jennifer, I like Lauren. She is a two-timer. But I want something original or maybe scandalous. You know, some things makes me want to say I achieved things I've never thought were possible like an artificial intelligence. But I'll never feel completed. You know, there is something wrong with me. I don't know what it's. I will always feel underachiever no matter what I do. That keeps me focused, push myself to the limit. In the meantime, I don't really have to put pressure on myself. There is always pressure that manifests inside my soul naturally wanting to be the best ever. Is that a crime? Chris, I'll take my time and write you something seductive. I am working on Divinity. It's a story about an FBI agent named Jenny who is looking for a serial killer who kills based on tarot divinity. I wrote the plot in my email. I had you in mind for the starring role. I will email it to you when I get a chance. Jennifer, why don't you email it to me right now? I want to look at it. She grabs her iPod from the sofa and gives him the iPod. Chris opens his email. Jennifer, Jennifer1990@gmail.com. Chris sends her the plot under the title of Divinity. Jennifer opens her email, clicks and reads it out loud. Jennifer, Jenny is a rookie FBI agent. At the beginning of the movie a man is found at the circus nude tied up in S&M. He is branded with the word magician on his chest. Roman number 1 is written on his forehead. Jenny is assigned to investigate the case by a special agent Jack McCarty. It's her first case. Note, if it's convenient, we will see Jennifer in the lead role. Jennifer, Jenny comes to the crime scene, looks at the body and knows right away she is dealing with a serial killer. She tells Jack she has a feeling this is just the beginning. The killer is killing based on tarot divinatory. 1 is the magician. 2 is the priestess. 3 is the empress. 4 is emperor. 5 is the pope. 6 is the lovers. 7 is the chariot. 8 is justice. 9 is the hermit. 10 is wheel of fortune. 11 is strength. 12 is the hanged man. 13 is death. 14 is temperance. 15 is the devil. 16 is the tower. 17 is the star. 18 is the moon. 19 is the Sunday. 20 is judgment. 21 is the world. Last is the fool. Jack asks her if she can handle it. She tells him it's a piece of cake. But deep down in her heart, Jenny has no clue what she is dealing with. Yet she is hungry like all rookie FBI agents who watched Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs and want to solve crimes and prove they are the best. Jack tells her it's her case. Meanwhile, Detective Kevin, who just transferred from Baltimore, is assigned to investigate the case, NYPD Homicide Division. He was at the crime scene questioning a witness. Jenny has seen him. She is attracted to him. But she dismisses the thought of getting intimate with a detective for now. She has to focus on the case. Jenny studies the case at her home, looking at the photographs of the crime scenes. She then comes to the New York City Police Department and has few words with Kevin. The forensics have found a card with the picture of the magician inside the victim body. She looks at the body again. Jenny tells Kevin FBI might have to take over the case. They are dealing with a serial killer. He tells her it doesn't matter who is in charge of the investigation. The main object is to solve the crime. They have to work as a team. She likes him. He is into her. They agree to meet at a restaurant and discuss about the case. Jenny and Kevin sit at a romantic restaurant and talk about the motive behind the murder, what they are dealing with and who the killer might be. She asks him about his past. Kevin tells her he worked at Baltimore Homicide Division but decided to return home after he has a fallout with his girlfriend Marta. Kevin caught her having sex with another man at the house. Jenny tells him that's sad. Kevin thinks it is not a big deal. He was caught up with a murder investigation of a girl named Jessica who was found killed while tied up in S&M and raped, and didn't give his girlfriend the attention she deserved. Marta could have fucked the man in the motel any hours of the day. But she waited past 12 a.m., which he usually came home from work, past midnight. She wanted him to catch her in the act. Marta told him she had a need. Jenny tells him she is a bitch. Kevin admits it's not Marta's fault. She is a sex psychologist and wrote various sex books. She just wanted to get inside his head and make him react like the devil. They had involved in S&M sex and had got him hooked deep into the game. Kevin even suspects Marta might have something to do with Jessica's death. That's just Kevin's theory. He has no proof. However, he loved her, didn't want to be her slave, chose to leave the town silently and return to home beloved New York City. Jenny asks him if he solved the case. He admits it is a bit complicated. He was having an affair with Jessica, the victim. The captain found out about it and took him off the case. Later, a man named Jesse whom he caught having sex with his girlfriend confessed for the murder. Jesse said it was accident. S&M sex might have gone wrong. He read one of Marta's books of the art of sadomasochistic sex, BDSM, and strangulation, raped and killed Jessica by accident. It was part of the foreplay. He has a video to prove it. The juries found him not guilty. He walked free. Jenny thinks that's weird. Regardless, Jenny and Kevin have few more drinks, dance slow, visit the crime scene at the circus, take a walk while conversing, kiss, and make love at his apartment. They sit in the bathtub. Kevin tells her his S&M history with his ex and shows her a sex book written by Marta. Jenny is turned on by it. The next day, they question a couple of witnesses and suspects, but it leads nowhere. Victim number 2 is found inside a church nude tied up in S&M. She is branded with the word priestess on her chest. Roman number 2 is written on her forehead. There is a stitch on her stomach. The forensics find a card inside her belly. At the FBI cyber office, Jenny asks a man named Max to give her names of people who visit the tarot cards reading online in New York City. He gives her the list of names. Jenny and Kevin question them one by one. They then come to question a man named Jason at his New York City apartment. The man fires at them and runs down the building like Seven starring Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. Jenny and Kevin chase him. Jason fires at them and hides down by a swimming pool outside. Jenny and Kevin search for the suspect. Jason comes out of the hide. When Jason is about to shoot Kevin, who is facing the wrong direction, Jenny dives in the air and pushes Kevin into the swimming pool that is covered with dry leaves and goes into the water with him, saving his life. Jason fires at them blindly. Bullets pass by Jenny and Kevin, few inches, cutting the water like well-designed little metal asteroids from space and entering Earth atmosphere with steady speed, except they are neither crashing on forests and wiping out dinosaurs nor hitting Jenny and Kevin, who are not standing on a solid ground and waiting for miracle but floating inside the water like two lovers in a planet that is filled with ocean. Jenny then gets out of the water like a supernatural-born predator and fires at Jason. She hits him in the throat. Jason holds his neck and falls down spitting blood. Jenny gets out the pool, removes her shirt, and holds it on Jason's neck in vain to stop the bleeding. Jason dies on her hand. FBI searches his house and finds all kinds tarot card and clues. Jenny also checks Jason's background and history of mental illness. Jason doesn't fit the profile of a serial killer. He is a paranoid schizophrenia who has a death wish. FBI think they got their serial kill and closes the case, so does NYPD. Kevin buys few groceries. However, Jenny tells Jack she killed the wrong person. Jason doesn't fit the description. The killer is still out there. Jack tells her just go home, Jenny, and take a hot bath. We will talk about it in the morning. Jenny comes to her house. The door is opened. She takes out her gun and enters slowly. Jenny finds Kevin in the kitchen nude cooking. She doesn't know how he got there and doesn't care. She removes all of her clothes and approaches him. They kiss and make love on the kitchen table. She then asks him to tie her up and spank her in S&M. He tied her up with a wire and spanked her with his belt. They have erotic sex. Victim 3 is found at her house nude, tied up in S&M and branded with the word "The Empress" on her chest. The Roman number 3 is written on her forehead. There is a stitch on her belly. Forensics collect evidence. Jenny and Kevin come to the crime scene and investigate the case. Later at the morgue, the forensics find a card with the picture of the Empress. In the meantime, a special agent Jack tells Capital Richard FBI is taking over the case. It's federal. They are welcome to assist, but they have to hand over all the evidence to the Bureau as soon as possible. Capital Richard can't argue. They've never seen anything like this. Now Jenny is in charge of the investigation. She knows next is Emperor, but she has no lead. Jenny and Kevin question a couple of suspects, which points nowhere. Jenny is upset. She gets aroused when she is nervous. Jenny asks Kevin to tie her up in S&M and spank her to take away the pressure from her head. They buy few S&M products, come to Kevin's house, he tied her up in BDMS and spank her with a whip. They then have S&M sex. Victim number 4 is found tied up in S&M nude inside a castle. He is about 45 years old, branded with the word "The Emperor" on his chest. The Roman number 4 is written on his forehead. Jenny and Kevin come to the crime scene and examine the body. There is a stitch on his stomach. The forensics find the major arcana card, the Emperor. Jenny and Kevin questions a couple of suspects, but no one is talking, and the names that she got from the computer doesn't help. However, she decides to give it one last shot. Jenny and Kevin come to Manhattan to question a man named Edward, who is not only has visited the tarot website, but he is also into S&M and owns a big erotic club. Edward tells them he only talks to Jenny in private. She sits at the sofa in the VIP room and asks Edward few questions. One of his female friends injects Jenny with sex drug in the neck. She falls unconscious. Minutes later, when Jenny regains consciousness, she finds herself tied up in BDSM. Edward spanks her with a whip and gives her few names. Actually, she enjoyed the spanking. She had orgasm. However, she is not there to fool around. The information she got from Edward might help her. At the same time, Kevin is tricked by a beautiful girl named Rita at the bar. She gives the bartender a wink to place drug in his drink. She takes him to her house and has sex with him in S&M. The next day, victim number 5 is found in the church tied up S&M naked, branded with the words "The Pope." The Roman number 5 is written on his forehead. Jenny and Kevin come to the crime scene, don't want to talk about what happened last night. Jenny examines the body, there is a stitch on the victim's stomach. The forensics find major arcana card, Chief Hierophant, inside the victim's stomach. Based on name that she got from Edward, Jenny and Kevin question a man named Austin who wrote a book on a tarot killer. Austin tells Jenny it is a freak accident. He wrote the book before the tarot killer incident took place and published it online. People weren't really interested. But now the tarot killer is killing people. All of a sudden, readers show interest. It's the #1 New York best-selling listed. He has to use anonymous named Charles to keep the media off his back. Jenny reads the book. According to Austin's novel, the killer is going to kill 2 lovers. However, victim number 6 is found nude alone in a garden. She is tied up in S&M branded with the words "lover." The Roman number 6 is written on her forehead. There are 2 stitches between her breasts where her heart is and on her belly. Her vagina is sewed. Jenny and Kevin come to the crime scene and examine the body. Later at the morgue, the forensics find a major card of the lovers in her stomach and her heart inside her vagina. Jenny thinks there is a motive. They might be looking for a young man between ages 25 to 35. He has a warehouse and well organized. They are dealing with a man who has deep understanding of what he's doing. He is not a typical serial killer. Jenny and Kevin work on the case at her house, examining each evidence. However, Jenny gets frustrated. She can't connect the killing. It's random. She thinks maybe there is no motive. In order to curb her enthusiasm, Jenny puts on S&M outfit and seduces Kevin to tie her up and spank her in BDSM. Kevin ties her up, spanks her. They then have erotic sex. Jenny and Kevin come to question a man named Dr. Matthew who is expert on tarot card. He has written a couple of books in tarot card and the mystery behind the divinity and how they can predict the future. He is not a suspect. Jenny just wants to have few words with him and have some kind of understanding about the subject. She wants to know what is inside the killer mind. What is the motive? What needs does he serve by killing? Who is going to kill next? But Dr. Matthew can't help her. He tells Jenny he is just a professor at NYU. He is not a god. It's pure fiction. He just wrote what he read here and there. He doesn't know whether it's going to rain tomorrow or not. Victim number 7 is found nude tied up S&M inside a carriage. he is branded with the word chariot on his chest. Roman number 7 is written on his forehead. FBI forensics collect evidence. Jenny and Kevin come the crime scene and examine the body. He is painted with white and black. There is a stitch on the victim's stomach. Later, at the morgue, the forensics finds the major arcana of the chariot card inside the victim's stomach and a wedding ring. Jenny questions the man's wife Maria. She tells Jenny that her husband was having an affair. He was cheating on her. Jenny thinks the killer might have a motive. He is preaching. Jenny begins to dig background information of the victims. Some of them are guilty of adultery. Some are guilty of child molestation. Some of them might have committed murder, etc. Yet they all are gotten away with their crimes. The killer is not only playing God, but he is also playing the devil. Jenny must find him before he kills again. Jenny sits with Kevin at a restaurant and tells him the killer's motive. She thinks he's killing to punish them and tells Kevin she is super stressed out. She hates to deal with psychopaths who have agendas. She needs serious spanking to take the burden out of her thoughts. Jenny doesn't want emotion to get in her way. But Kevin wants to take it easy and focuses on the case. Jenny takes out her gun and points it at him. She tells him she will shoot him between his eyes if he doesn't get up, take her to his house and spank her like a bad Catholic girl who cut class to smoke weed and watch porn. She says it to seduce him. Kevin takes her to his house and spanks her with his belt. They have erotic sex and work on the case. Victim number 8 is found tied up in S&M inside a courtroom. He is branded with the word justice. He is a judge. The killer has removed his eyes. The Roman number 8 is written on his forehead. The forensics collect evidence. Jenny and Kevin come to the crime scene and examine the body. There is a stitch on his abdomen. Later, at the morgue, the forensics find the major arcana card of justice in the victim's stomach. Meanwhile, Jenny finds out the judge was involved in bribery. He received $5 million from a Russian mob. He ruled the murder of a girl named Maria accidental despite the fact all the evidence are pointing at the suspect. She was stabbed with a knife by a young man named Vladimir, the son of one of the most powerful crime bosses, Boris. Jenny questions Maria's sister if anyone contacts her. She admits someone gave her $50,000. Jenny asks her to give her the description of the man to FBI sketch artist. Maria gives them the suspect's face. It is a man named Joseph. FBI arrests Joseph. He is a small-time drug dealer. Joseph tells Jenny it is Vladimir, who gave him the money. Vladimir asked Joseph to give the money to Maria. Vladimir is hiding. Jenny get a tip Vladimir's whereabouts. He is at his cousin's apartment, David. Jenny does not bother to call backup, just drives to David's apartment alone, shoots the door, kicks it open, enters and points her gun at Vladimir who is playing video game with David. She arrests him alone bravely and takes him to the FBI headquarters. At the interrogation room, Jenny asks him few questions about the murder. He says he was contacted by a man who wore a mask. He tells him to give the girl the money or he will kill his daughter. Jenny believes him. Jenny thinks the suspect has a lot of resources. He could be the Prince of Darkness himself, all she knows. She begins to lose control. She can hear the killer's voice inside of her head. He is driving her mad. Kevin is the only person can truly save her. Jenny thinks she is in love with him like those characters in romantic novels written by Nora Roberts and Judith McNaught spiced up with S&M and BDSM. At least, she wants him to tie her up and spank her. She enjoys making love to him. That is her medicine. Jenny says fuck it. She goes to a club, has few drinks and dances like there is no tomorrow to relieve the stress. Kevin come to take her home. She gives him ecstasy as they kiss French. He just wants to see her happy. They dance together seductively. They come to her house. He tied her up and whips her in erotic gratification. They then make love all night. Seductive Pain, Part 9. Victim number 9 is found in a library naked with lantern. It's an old man tied up in S&M. He is branded with the World Hermit. The Roman number 9 is written on his forehead. Jenny and Kevin come to crime scene and examine the body. Later, the forensics find the major arcana card of the Hermit inside his stomach. Jenny finds out the old man is the famous Mac the Ripper who murdered 9 college students in the 70s. Jenny is right. The killer is indeed punishing them for sins they committed in the past. But he is not preaching like turn your other cheek. He is playing the Old Testament God. Yet, Jenny wants to put face on the tarot killer and take him out as soon as possible. The media is on her. She has become a star due to the case. Paparazzi are following her everywhere she goes like a movie star. She is on the covers of tabloids. She is beautiful. She even appears on the cover of Time, Esquire, Vogue, and Vanity Fair. But that does not stop her from conducting the investigation to the fullest. She wants to lure the killer toward her. Jenny asks Kevin how the killer chooses his victims. What drives him to do what he does? Is he doing God's will? Did his mother or father beat him when he was a kid? Where does he get the money? Nobody has the answer to those questions. Victim number 10 is a female. She is found tied up in S&M nude at amusement park. The killer placed Wheel of Fortune on her belly. She is branded with the word Wheel of Fortune. It looks like work of art. The Roman word 10 is written on her forehead. Jenny and Kevin come to the crime scene and examine the body. Her tongue is removed. Her vagina is sewed. Later, the forensics find her tongue in her vagina and the major arcana card of Wheel of Fortune in her belly. The news leaks to the media. A reporter named Anne writes an article on the case. She thinks Jenny is not qualified. She can't handle a high-profile case like this. They should put someone who know what he or she is doing. Jenny reads the articles and is not too happy about it. Kevin tells her to ignore her. Even though it seems Jenny is caught up in S&M, she actually has a house where she has all the photographs of the crime scenes and victims and various books on tarot. It looks like a police station. She has never shown it to Kevin. She also has S&M stuffs. Sometime old habits die hard. Anyhow, Jenny and Kevin look at a couple of the crime scenes photo. They can't find tangible patterns. They continue to study the case day and night while enjoying some of the best S&M sex to relieve headaches. Meanwhile, the killer murder 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 within the next 3 weeks. Victim 11 is a woman. She is found tied up in S&M nude at a motel. She is branded with the word strength. Jenny finds out the victim was adulterous. She was having an affair with a married man. Jenny questions her husband. She also asks the man whom the victim was having an affair with. Jenny questions his wife. It leads nowhere. Victim 12 is a man in his 20s. He is found hanged upside down on a tree in S&M outside his house naked. He is branded with the word hanged man. He was guilty of betrayal. His name is Roger. He gave away his friend Jeremiah who slipped drugs in 62 young women drinks, had sex with the girls, video recorded the act and posted in deep web. Roger rats him out in order to save his soul, despite the fact he participated in some of the sex. Jeremiah is sentenced 25 years behind bars. Roger got a lesser punishment for cooperation. He got only 5 years, spent 2 years in a state prison and got released in probation. However, Jeremiah hanged himself in prison. He was mad by the betrayal. Jenny questions a couple of witnesses and finds out people call Roger a traitor. Jenny believes the killer might have killed Roger, thinking Jeremiah might need some kind of justice, or he could have killed him for participating on the act itself and escaping justice. Serving 2 years for a rape is like a high school detention with the cast of The Breakfast Club, Molly Ringwald, Ally Sheedy, Judd Nelson, Anthony Michael Hall and the rest of the Brat Pack. It was a slap on the wrist. That is beside the point. She knows the killer doesn't play by the rule. She reminds herself for Christ's sake he is a serial killer. He writes his own rules. Regardless, Jenny wants to catch the son of bitch, put a bullet hole between his eyes and send him hell. Ironically or coincidentally, victim 13 is a serial killer. He is found nude in graveyard tied up in S&M. He is branded with the word death. He is guilty of raping and killing 13 high school girls. Victim 14 is a young woman found in a strip club tied up in S&M nude. She is branded with the word temperance. She is guilty of prostitution. Victim 15 is a man. He is found in a library tied up nude in BDMS and branded with the word devil. Jenny and Kevin come to crime scene and examine the body. Later, the forensics find the major arcana card of the devil inside the victim's stomach. Jenny discovers the victim is a leader of a Christian cult. He was guilty of tricking 15 people, women, children, and men, to commit suicide. He told the judge Saint Gabriel said to him in vision it's the end of the world, the kingdom of God is nearer than the breath of life we are taking, and to save as much people as he could. The juries felt those people drank the poison voluntarily and found the defender not guilty. But the killer might have looked at it differently. He might have killed him to show the devil he is better than him. Later, Jenny comes to S&M Fashion headquarters to question the CEO of the magazine Eric who published some of crime scene photos and models in S&M acting out the tarot murder scenes and runs into a young man named Nicholas. He is her ex-boyfriend, 4 years senior. She met him at St. John High School. Jenny was 9th grade. He was 12th grade. She went to a prom with him. Nicholas took her virginity and moved to West Coast. Jenny hasn't talked to him for a while. He never called her for some reason. She's a little bit surprised to see him. Nicholas is taken by Jenny's appearance. There is nothing deceiving about it. She is a totally different person now. He can feel her mind-boggling sexual energy in his ribs, bone marrows, nerves, and spinal column, and lust at the core of his heart. She is possessed. Nicholas is speechless. Jenny asks what he's up to. He tells her he just bought S&M Fashion magazine. Nicholas owns it. He invites Jenny to S&M Fashion show. However, Jenny has to ask Eric few questions first. He is responsible for the photos. Jenny asks Eric how he got the photos. Some of them are taken before police even arrived at the crime scene. He tells her someone sent them inside envelopes without a return address. Jenny wants to see the envelopes. Eric gives her all the envelopes. She also collects all the photographs. FBI fingerprint experts look for fingerprints. But they find nothing, except the employees of S&M Fashion magazine. Later, Jenny comes to S&M Fashion show, sits with Nicholas and watches female and male models walking in the catwalk, wearing all kinds of S&M outfits, lingeries and nightgowns designed by various famous fashion designers around the world. After the show, Jenny and Nicholas come to a 5-star restaurant and have seafood. They do some catching up. They talk about tarot killer as well. In the meantime, Nicholas seduces Jenny to come to his new multimillion villa that he just bought. Nicholas has all kinds of S&M devices in a grand scale. They do cocaine to chase away few awkward moment. He removes her clothes, ties her on St. Andrew Cross and whips her erotically. Jenny lets him have him. He then puts a powerful sex drug in Jenny's drink and photographs her with 2 female models in $&M making love to her before he joins them in foursome. The drugs doesn't put her unconscious or affect her judgment. It only enhances her sexual craving. Jenny knows what's going on. She is enjoying it. However, the next day, Jenny has to sleep like a baby, and doesn't wake up till 12:30 p.m. in the afternoon. She hasn't slept like this since she was in college after partying all night, and drank a couple of alcoholic beverages till she passed out. Jenny missed those days. She knows she can't live in the past. In the meantime, Nicholas brings her breakfast to bed. Jenny just has few sips from her coffee, takes a quick shower, leaves the house without a word. She gets in her convertible and drives in the street of New York City. Jenny doesn't even want to look at her cell phone for a while. She has turned it off, so she can collect her thoughts and focus on herself first, and then get in a character. But Jenny can't help it. She looks at her cell phone. There is a message. Victim 16 is a man. He is found nude branded with the word towel hanged on a towel with wire. Jenny comes to the crime scene. Kevin has already told FBI not to move the victim till Jenny looks at the body. Jenny examines the body. Meanwhile, she finds out the victim is a burglar. He killed 3 couples and robbed caches, jewelries and electronic equipment unlawfully. Kevin suspects Nicholas might be the killer. He saw him taking photographs of the victim in the morning, before she arrived at the crime scene. Kevin suggests they should question him. Jenny thinks it's a bad idea. Kevin asks her why is it a bad idea. Jenny tells him she was with him last night. They were making love. However, Jenny is not sure either. Nicholas might have left in the middle of the night while she was sleeping like the Ark of the Covenant in flesh and blood. It's a figure of speech. She was drugged sexually. But she doesn't want to tell that to Kevin. Instead, Jenny comes to FBI headquarters and decides to check what Nicholas has been up to. She asks Max to hack into Nicola's computer and looks into his emails and bank account. Jenny also looks at his phone records and credit history, even though if Nicholas is the killer, he can't be that stupid to use his phone and credit to gather information. It won't hurt trying. But Nicholas is clean. Max finds nothing on him. Later that night, Jenny and Kevin work on the case at her investigation house, looking at all the crime scene photos. They talk about Nicholas. Kevin tells her FBI should wire his house. Jenny says reluctantly that's not a bad idea. So she could focus on the case. But something is bothering her. She just can't figure out what the killer wants. He is toying with her emotions. Jenny removes her clothes and kisses Kevin. They kiss more intimately and begin to make love in the middle of the crime scene photos. It is one of the sexiest love scenes in the history of cinema. Somehow, it is extremely erotic and spellbindingly romantic. There is no S&M. It's pure true love. On the soundtrack, Al Green's Let's Stay Together plays. Victim 17 is a woman. She is found nude branded with the word star at a lake house. Jenny and Kevin come to the crime scene and examine the body. Jenny finds out she is guilty of adultery. But Jenny suspects something doesn't add up here. She knows there is something wrong with this particular killing. It's not the work of the tarot killer. Jenny tells Kevin it's a copycat. They follow her husband Justin and sees him with a young 23-year-old girl named Diana. They bring him for questioning. Jenny tells him she knows he killed her. Don't even dare lie to me. Justin confesses for the murder. He killed his wife, so he could be with Diana. Justin found out she had been cheating on him with his best friend, which made it easier to stage the act. He studied the tarot murder case online and killed her. Justin asked Jenny to leave Diana out it. That's not her business. In the meantime, Jenny thinks Justin could have gotten away with it easily. But he made few mistake by visiting websites that covered the murder case. His name appears in FBI database. Even though it's a violation of privacy, Jenny feels she did what she had to do. Justin is arrested for the murder of his wife. Later, the real victim 17 is found nude at her house. The killer tied her up in BDSM and placed her body inside the devil star with candlelight. She is branded with the word star. The forensics collects evidence. Jenny and Kevin come to the crime scene and examine the body. There is a stitch on her abdomen. Later, the forensics find the major arcana card of star in her stomach. Jenny finds out the victim was guilty of killing a little girl in a hit-and-run accident. She read the victim's diary. Jenny doesn't care about that at this particular moment. Her heart goes out to the little girl and her family. But the killer can't use that as excuse to kill people. He is not God. Jenny just wants to catch the killer and end it as soon as possible. It's not right. Jenny thinks she must stop him at all costs. She continues to investigate the case. Jenny and Kevin question a couple of suspects here and there without a success. They have no luck of finding the killer. She is mad. To make things matter worse, Nicholas publishes the sex photographs of Jenny on S&M fashion magazine that he photographed earlier. It causes quite a stir. Jenny has words with Special Agent Jack. She tells him she has nothing to do with the photos. Jack tells her he does not care. It's her life. She can do whatever she pleases. If she must take action, to feel free. Jack knows she's one of the best. He tells her he wants her to continue to work on the case. Find the son of bitch and put a bullet in the back of his brain. It's a figure of speech. He just wants to tell her to execute the task. However, Jenny is upset. She confronts Nicholas. But Nicholas doesn't back down either. He shows her a couple of seductive S&M photo books and posters of Jenny. In flashback, Jenny remembers posing for Nicholas. Even though she was under drug influence, she was into it. In the sense, Jenny has to admit. She has never felt so sexy in these pictures. She has insane sexual verve that floods out of her skin. She looks like a nymph conceived out of pure lust and manifestation of radish desire, and to be preserved only for the gods, not to seduce them but to fulfill their deepest sexual fantasy. And amazingly, the photographs captured it. Literally, it would hurl defiance at pornography. She was kind of taken by them and decides to let it go. We cannot help but stand by her decision. Yet, Jenny is pissed off. She couldn't find the killer. He is toying with her emotion. She begins to break things at her investigation house. Kevin is there with her. He tries to calm her down. Jenny asks him to spank her to reveal the pain. On the soundtrack, Closer Miley Cyrus plays. It's a song by 9 Inch Nails. Kevin ties Jenny upside down nude while she is looking at the crime scene photos upside down. He splits her legs with ropes and spanks her vagina with cat o' nine tails till she reaches orgasm. It's one of the sexiest things we have ever seen in our lives period. They then make love all night. Victim 18 is found at a restaurant tied up in BDSM. She is branded with the word moon tied up in BDSM. FBI collect evidence. Jenny and Kevin come to crime scene and examine the body. There is a stitch on her abdomen. Later, the forensics find major arcana card of the moon in the victim's stomach. Jenny finds out the victim was guilty of killing her husband with poison, which she put in his meal. She got away with it clean. Nobody performed autopsy on him. Jenny questioned her sister Heather. They were best friends. Heather told Jenny a secret, which her sister was planning on taking to her grave. Victim 19 is a man. He's found at a nightclub that he owned tied up in S&M and branded with the word sun. The forensics find major card of the sun in the victim's stomach. Jenny checks the victim's background and finds out he used to be a pimp. 10 years ago, he beat a prostitute named Sunshine with his bare hand to death. Victim 19 is a young woman. She's found tied up in S&M inside a cathedral nude. The killer sewed wings on her back and branded her with the word angel on her chest. FBI forensics collect evidence. Jenny and Kevin come to the church and examine the body. There is a stitch on her abdomen. Later at the morgue, the forensics find the major arcana card of angel in her stomach. Meanwhile, Jenny discovers the victim killed her lover after she caught him with another woman. Her husband is accused for the killing falsely. But he escaped bail and went to Ukraine before he was convicted. United States has no extradition treaty with Ukraine. His parent emigrated from Kiev. The government of Ukraine gave him passport and citizenship and told USA fuck you. He's innocent. Victim 20 is a woman. She is found nude while tied up in BDSM at her house. She is branded with the word world. FBI collect evidence. Jenny and Kevin come to the crime scene and look at the body. There is a stitch on her stomach. Jenny finds out the victim is guilty of killing her husband and 2 children. She was found not guilty by reason of insanity. Jenny suspects Nicholas. She has seen him with the woman at the fashion show. The lady was a special guest at the event. Jenny comes to Nicholas's house to question him to ask him few questions. However, Nicholas gasses her and puts her unconscious. When Jenny wakes up later, she finds herself tied her up in BDSM as a prisoner. Nicholas tells her he didn't kill them but she knows who might have killed them. He adds Jenny has to use her imagination. In flashback, we see young Jenny and young Nicholas having sex. They reach orgasm. Jenny gets up nude and walks to the kitchen to get a drink. It's a big house. Jenny hears a woman screaming. She walks toward the sound. At one of the room, Jenny looks at Kevin lashing a young beautiful woman named Jessica with a whip. She is tied up in S&M nude. Kevin is Nicholas's older brother. He looks at Jenny and gives her a wink. Later, another day, young Jenny and young Nicholas make love. Jenny reach orgasm. Young Jenny gets up, leaves Nicholas's room in the middle of the night and comes to Kevin's room without a single drop of cloth. They have sex. Kevin then ties young Jenny in BDSM and whips her with cat o' nine tails. Young Nicholas watch them. He is upset, turns around and walk away. We returns from flashbacks. Nicholas tells her Jenny knows who the killer is. She just chooses to suppress it and doesn't want to face the truth. She even participates in the killing. Jenny has developed a split personality without her knowledge. Nicholas shows her the photos of the victims. Jenny sees herself participating in the killing with Kevin. It's like Angel Heart starring Robert De Niro, Lisa Bonet, and Mickey Rourke. Angel, played by Mikey Rourke, has been murdering witnesses without his knowledge while investigating a missing person. She is Kevin's crime partner. She couldn't believe what she is seeing, as if they put a microchips in her brain and plays a fake video. Then out of nowhere comes Kevin and points his gun at Nicholas. He is not surprised. Nicholas tells her they are here to kill him. He is the fool. Nicholas is guilty of killing a girl in S&M sex gone wrong. In the meantime, Jennifer falls unconscious. Later, she wakes up at her house, gets a call and come to Nicholas's house. He is found nude in the living room tied in BDMS. He is branded fool on his chest. FBI are collecting evidence. Jenny looks at Kevin as he walks into the room. She tells him she wants to have word with him. She confronts him if he kills those people. He takes her upstairs and make love to her. The end. Jennifer takes a deep breath with satisfaction. Jennifer, this is one of the best stories I have ever read. Chris, I wrote it in one sitting. There are few plot holes. I will build dialogue around it and fix the problem. You know, change the ending and a couple of things here and there. Jenny has nothing to do with the killing. I want Kevin to be a good guy as well. Kevin and Nicholas are not brother. They don't know each other. Instead, Nicholas has a brother named Jacob whom Jenny had history with. She involved with him in S&M behind Nicholas. Jacob appears in the end. Or maybe, Jacob joins the Navy and goes to Afghanistan. He then faked his own death and begins to kill people as part of a game. Perhaps he suffered from post-trauma stress. Or just to get a thrill out of it. He is an artist. But for some reason, I don't feel like bringing the military into the mix even though they invented the internet. I want the film to be appealing to female audiences. I will figure it out. In the meantime, let's go back to the ending. Jenny comes to question Nicholas. Instead she finds him dead. Yet the killer is in the house. It's Jacob. Jenny tells him to surrender or she will shoot him. Yet Jacob drops nerve gas and puts Jenny unconscious. When she walks up she finds herself tied up in BDSM. Jacob then whips her here and there. When he is about to kill her sadistically, Kevin comes to the house to question Nicholas. He rings the bell like Clarice Starling, played by Jodie Foster in The Silence of the Lambs. Jacob tapes Jenny's mouth, covers Nicholas's dead body and opens the door. Kevin tells him he comes to ask Nicholas few questions regarding to the Terrell murder. Jacob tells him he is Nicholas's older brother. At the moment, Nicholas is not here. Meanwhile, Jenny frees herself just in time. When Jacob is about to shoot and kills Kevin, Jenny shoots and kills him first. Jenny and Kevin kiss French. The end. Jennifer, that's nice. But I like the first ending. I want Jenny to be a bad girl. It's weird you brought Angel Heart. I ran into Zoe Kravitz at Greenwich Hotel that Robert De Niro owns. That's where I love to hang out whenever I go to New York City. It's my home. Anyhow, I said hi to Zoe. We kissed on the cheeks and went to our separate way. I knew she was Lisa Bonet's daughter. I rented Angel Heart and watched it the same day. You know, whenever I spend there, at Greenwich Hotel, I watch at least one movie that Bobby did. I must have watched Taxi Driver over 20 times. But Angel Heart stuck on my mind. Keep the original ending. Besides, if you look at most serial killer movies, usually the bad guys kill people and the cops try to stop them. But this is different. Jenny is a serial killer herself and an FBI agent. She's in the middle of investigating crimes that she and her boyfriend are committing without her knowledge. It's like Bonnie and Clyde, except she is not aware of it. Jennifer gives Chris a sweet French kiss. Jennifer, just leave it the way it's. Except the part when Jenny tells Kevin she will shoot him between his eyes if he doesn't get up, take her to his house and spank her like a bad Catholic girl who cuts class to smoke weed and watch porn. That's sexiest line ever. However, instead, Jenny flips the table away, points her gun at Kevin's penis and tells him she will blow off his dick to kingdom comes if he doesn't get up, take her to her house and spank her like a bad Catholic girl, who cuts class to smoke weed and watch porn, and fuck her till her heart catches on fire. They exchange juicy French kiss. Chris, I will change it. But in the meantime, there are over 22 victims in the film. I thought about dividing it in 4 parts. 5 victims per shows, which allows us not only to focus on the investigation, but also the chemistry between the main characters. However, you just did the Hunger Games series, and in the middle of doing X-Men. I felt like you didn't want to be caught up on series again. It's also graphic. They won't show it in theater. You involve in a lot of erotic sex. Jennifer, HBO would kill for it. You know, I will convince them to release all 4 movies in 1 year. 3 months apart. I am going to do it for the sake of art. I like the part where you split my legs and spank my vagina with cat o' nine tails. Emma might do it first. But it'd be something if you split my legs, shave the hair off my vagina while I'm tied up in S&M with split legs, and then spank my vagina naked with cat o' nine tails. Chris, that's pornography. Jennifer, it's HBO. They kiss French. Emma returns to the living room with a shaving blade. They part their lips and look at her. Emma looks fresh. She must have come out of shower. She has put black makeup on her eyes and dark red lipstick. But that's nothing. She painted her hair with deep red pinkish and bright vanilla. It's like a crossbreed rose. And placed artificial water droplets throughout her hair as if she went to hair salon and spent hours. We don't how she did it. We have never seen anything like it. Jennifer, what did you do to your hair? Emma, it's a rose with dew. After they watch this, a lot of girls might follow her style. It's look pretty cool. It sparkles like a real rose with dew in the morning. Jennifer, how did you do the droplets? Emma, I glued them with a hair glue. Jennifer, it's not going to ruin your hair? Emma, it comes out when you wash it. Jennifer, you look beautiful. Emma, thanks. Let me do it. Jennifer, why can't he do it? We were just talking about tying me upside down, splitting my legs, shaving my pubic hair and spanking my vagina with cat o' nine tail for this character that he wrote for me. Divinity. About a girl named Jenny who hunts for a serial killer who kills people based tarot divinity. In the end, Jenny discovered she is doing the murder herself without her knowledge. Emma, that sounds erotic. Jennifer, referring to Chris, he is a freak of nature. Jennifer gets closer and kisses him on the lips with tongue. Jennifer, I want you to do it. She gives the camera to Emma and sits on the sofa. Emma, to Chris she's a major bitch, isn't she? Emma kisses Chris and gives him the shaving blade. Emma, I think she's in love with you. She gives him a sweet French kiss. Emma, pierce her clitoris and put ring on it if you like it. They kiss more intimately. On the soundtrack, Single Ladies, Put a Ring on It, by Beyoncé plays. It's also playing on the stereo. Chris places the shaving creams on his hands, applies it on Jennifer's public hair and begins to shave it. Emma records them while singing with Beyoncé. Cut to. Chris finishes shaving the hair from Jennifer's vagina. Cut to. Chris pierces Jennifer's clitoris. Emma continues to records them. On the soundtrack, Single Ladies, Put a Ring on It, continues to play. Jennifer lets out soft scream and squeeze a t-shirt that happened to be on the sofa. Cut to. Chris places the ring on Jennifer clitoris. It looks sexy. She gets up and shows it to Emma who continues to sing. Then on the soundtrack Goodbye, Goodbye by Tegan and Sarah plays. Emma says oh my god, I love this song, and begins to sing with Tegan and Sarah. Jennifer joins Emma singing Goodbye, Goodbye. They sound harmonious like Tegan and Sarah. Jennifer, what do you think? Emma, it's seductive. Jennifer approaches her, takes the camera from her hand and kisses her French. They kiss more intimately. Jennifer parts her lips and comes to Chris recording. Jennifer, it's my turn. Jennifer kisses him. They kiss intimately. In the meantime, Emma grabs a cigarette from the coffee table, lights it up, sits on the sofa and begins to smoke, watching them kissing and making out. Jennifer and Chris go down on the floor. They kiss more sexually. Chris caresses Jennifer's neck, kisses her breasts, slowly goes down, and begins to give her oral pleasure as she continues to record it. Jennifer's face then lights up in sexual pleasure. She drops the camera. Emma takes ecstasy with scotch and begins to finger herself watching them while smoking cigarette with style. Chris then gets between Jennifer's legs and enters her. He then lifts her right leg, puts it on his shoulder and continues to enter her sensually. Jennifer is lost in sexual passion making all kinds of sounds with sexual pleasure. He continues to hit it deliciously. Emma continues to finger herself. Chris pulls Jennifer's hair and kisses her lips. They change position. She grabs the camera, gets on top of him and rides him, cowgirl style, while recording him. Jennifer then drops the camera on the floor as she reaches orgasm. Chris then gets Jennifer on the bottom, grabs the camera, gets between her legs and enters her with full speed while recording her. He is about to reach climax. He pulls her hair, kisses her lips passionately, comes inside her, drops the camera and lies on her chest out of breath. Chris rolls from Jennifer and lies flat on the floor, next to her. They are both breathing in and out heavily as if they just run a marathon. Emma touches herself more and gets herself wet as well. She takes a deep breath in orgasm, gets up from the sofa with the cigarette, walks up to them and lies next to Chris, resting her head on his chest. Emma takes a cool long drag from the cigarette and breathes the smoke in Chris's mouth. Shotgun. She kisses him French as he lets out the smoke through his nose. She then parts her lips and produces two ring out of nowhere like a magician. On the soundtrack, music plays. Emma tells Chris to pierce her nipples. Emma rests her head on Jennifer's belly and continues to smoke. It's a dreamish take. Seductive Pain, Part 10. Chris grabs the needle from the floor, sucks Emma's right nipples and pierces it slowly. He then places a ring on it. Cut 2. Chris then sucks her left nipple and pierces it. He then places a ring on it. Cut 2. Chris kisses both of her breasts. There is blood on his lips from the blood from Emma's nipples. Chris actually sucks the blood from her nipples erotically. He grabs her hair and kisses her lips seductively. She puts her arms around him. They kiss more intimately. Emma's head remains on Jennifer's belly as if she is using it for a pillow. Jennifer takes the cigarette from Emma's hand and begins to smoke. Chris and Emma continue to kiss seductively. Emma then gets Chris deep between her legs and holds him closer. Chris enters her. He then increases the speed. Emma's head remains on Jennifer's belly. Yet Jennifer's body is shaking from the sex. It seems she doesn't mind. She continues to smoke cigarette. Emma runs her hands all over Chris's body while scratching his skin with her nails as he continues to enter her, kissing her lips and caressing her neck. Emma then gets up from Jennifer's belly. She gets on top of Chris, who rests his head on Jennifer's belly. Emma rides him cowgirl. Jennifer massages Chris's hair as she continues to smoke. Somehow it's romantic. Emma continues to ride Chris. The rings on Emma's nipples look sexy. Chris squeezes her breast with his right hand and rubs her curvaceous buttock with his left hand and slaps it hard. We stay with them for a bit. We then take it with overhead shot and leaves the room. EXT Emma's beach house, Pacific Ocean, day. Chris sits on the sand looking at the ocean waves. Out of nowhere appears Emma. She sits next to him. Emma, I had 10 years high school reunion this weekend. I want you to come with me to Tempe, Arizona. If you like flying, we'll take a private jet. But I prefer driving. It's a 5 hours drive. Chris, I might have to get back to Bree. She think I am dead. Emma, I'm not cold, am I? Chris, it's not your fault. They exchange soft kisses. Emma, you haven't called her? Chris, should I? Emma shakes her head no, gets on top of him and kisses him. They kiss more intimately. They roll on the sand. Chris gets Emma on bottom as they continue to kiss. He then leans looking at her eyes intimately. Emma, tell me something I don't know. Chris, softly down by her lips. When it comes to the game of seduction, they say I am number one. It doesn't matter if they are sexy or smart. I know the secret of every beautiful girl's heart. When it comes to romance they say I am the best. Anybody can find my heart below my waist. I have unique methods of making love to girls, which make me more enchanting than the rest. In spite of what they say, I know. Winter is cold. Summer is bold. To each and everything that takes a breath away, shines the soul brighter than sun and turns heart into treasure more precious than diamond and gold. It is you I want to mold. Romance and seduce, court and unfold. And for love that can be neither bought nor sold. It is you I want to cuddle and hold. And kiss your lips with the most beautiful love stories ever told. Chris gives her a soft kiss on the lips. Emma, that sounds PG-13. I wanted rated R. I'm told you are an amazing poet. Chris, is that right? Emma, better than Shakespeare. Chris, you're putting a lot of pressure on me. Emma, can you handle it? Chris, softly down by her lips, let me see. I saw your face and gave you my heart on a tray. My liver on a fish bowl filled with water, rose petals, marigolds and twilight that I got from Santa Monica Bay. And my soul wrapped with flesh and pierced with a ray. Because not only are you the most beautiful girl ever, but the very thought of you takes my breath away. And I don't care if you think I'm just playing a part. Falling head over heels in love with thee. And pleasure I get the depth of my soul when I see you. Has always been an art. As if it were a fairy tale that had neither an end nor a start. You are the most beauteous beat of my heart. Chris plants a soft kiss on Emma's lips. Chris, I saw thy radiant eyes. I stopped counting the stars in the skies. They keep taking me to where lovers' hearts race. Beyond the pleasant allurement of Eden and butterflies. Beyond the sparkling seas and paradises, which light breaks the clouds and inject the water with mystifying beams and grace. And reflect back to heavens where seraphs dwell. To be adored in a peak, glimpse, fleeting look, and glance. As if each scintillate were a dandelion planted in a vase. Somewhere beyond lotus, gazanias, camellias, and gladiolus that float on the ponds, basins and bayous which existed in space. And far from mediocre and commonplace. Till millions of rays dart from your arresting irises. In a heartbeat, twinkling, a fraction of a second. Of which even light can't keep up the pace. And pierce my soul like spears till I'm pronounced dead. Yet angels only say my heart disappeared without a trace. Chris gives her a soft kiss on the lips. Chris, I saw your smile. It brightened my soul. There is nothing like it in solar system. I don't look at the sun on tulips, dahlias, and daisies. Even the morning stardust on the Pacific Ocean anymore. I tasted your lips. I renamed March to fever. Not do they only remind me daffodils, hibiscus. Bleeding hearts and carnations in the beginning of March. But they're also knives to my liver. My lungs get punctured. And my kidneys spiral and arch. The butterfly in my belly turn into magnolia. My stomach burns to ashes. And my intestines are left to parch. More painful, agonizing and sharper than the dagger. Jabbed into Caesar's abdomen at the Ides of March. Chris plants a soft kiss on her lips. Chris, I can't breathe as I please. I don't add sugar in my coffee or tea. Or quench my thirst with red wine or drink whiskey. I'm always intoxicated with passion, endearment, and serendipity. I've refused to eat foods rich with carbohydrate and starch. Mercilessly, unfairly, ruthlessly, barbarously. No ifs, ands, or buts, your succulent lips love to crucify my heart without remorse like Good Friday in late March. Sell down the river and leave me in the lurch. May all that hurt me be irrelevant. You stir up emotions that are enchanting and eminent. I might as well open my chest and show you the rose that you planted deep in my heart. Every day my soul dies. It then resurrected on your spellbinding lips, get lost in your smiles and tells prophecies in your hypnotic eyes. Chris gives her a soft kiss on the lips. Chris, or shall I just cut my solar plexus, remove my spleen? Put barbed wire around it, then nails it on a small cross that I curved with my own hands and place it in a gift box. Then decorate it with a ribbon and bow, right on the card. There are beautiful things in life that can only be witnessed with tears. Kissed with tongues and felt with soul. Like a rose floating on a pure lake. Sprinkled with dew droplets and inflicted with soft morning twilight. To take my breath away at sight. It's sensual delight. And to each and everything that's wrong and right. You gave love an erotic meaning. A seductive light. Chris gives her a soft kiss on the lips. Chris, and give it to you each and every day. While knowing it would grow back triple the size. And consume my soul like cancer just to make a point. There is nothing left to bless, touch, dub or anoint. I keep finding you deep in my heart, blood vessels and cells. And feel the passion burning in my lips, ribs, bone marrows. Depth of my soul, each nerve, spine, and joint. I promise to be cordial, poetic, and try to make you smile as it were a wedding rehearse. When all I want to do is transcend thee somewhere. Beyond the stars, galaxies, and the endless universe. Love without the restriction of consciousness. Romance and passion without condition. Intimacy and fever beyond sensual immunity. Somewhere beyond the seduction of eternal liberty. Kiss your luscious lips till I'm out of breath. And make love to thee as if I were cheating death. Fulfill your deepest and most sexual fantasy. Light your heart and set your soul free. Emma smiles in beauty. Chris gives her a soft kiss on the lips. She puts her arms around him. They kiss more intimately. Emma then removes her underwear, kisses Chris French, opens his sweatpants, removes it completely and throws it aside. Emma then removes her dress, gets on top of Chris nude and rides him seductively like a. Chris then gets her on bottom and enters her sweetly as he kisses her lips and caresses her neck. Emma has already reached multiple orgasm. Chris comes inside her and kisses her lips. She puts her arms around him. They kiss more passionately. EXT Corvette convertible, moving, day. Chris is behind the wheel. Emma is in the passenger seat. They are driving on intersection 95 in Arizona. On the soundtrack, Kiss by Prince plays. Emma is looking at Chris' website in her laptop. Then the music on the soundtrack falls in the background and plays softly. Emma, I asked Jennifer what her favorite movie was. She said it's the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I rented the film and began to watch it with great anticipation. I was a little bit disappointed. What's this? Is it a movie or some kind of cheap British film made for television? Have you seen it? Chris, no, I haven't. Emma, it's stupid. I just don't understand what's so funny about a person getting his arms and legs cut off. Chris, humorously, quoting the film It's a Flesh Wound. Emma, you saw it. Chris, I watched the trailer. Critics say it's one of the funniest movies ever made. Emma, I don't trust critics. For instance, No Country for Old Men is one of the most overrated movies of all time. Just because of critics say it's one of the greatest films of the new millennium. We pretend we like the film, so we could look smart. I'm not saying the movie is bad. It's okay. It didn't break any ground. There is no amazing dialogue or explosive action sequences like the new Mad Max Road Fury or intriguing like Sergio Leone's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Chris, I thought it was alright. Emma, it's same thing with There Will Be Blood. It's one of the most overrated movies of all time. It's just simply playing madness. But unlike No Country for Old Men, it might age like a fine wine and achieve classic status due to the performance of Daniel Day-Lewis. It's like Citizen Kane. The critics thought Citizen Kane was okay when it comes out. But later, they said it's the greatest film ever made. I kind of disagree with that. You know, Citizen Kane is a biopic. It's good in terms of telling a story of man who has everything and loses it in the end. But it doesn't keep you on the edge of your seat. Unlike some abstract films, they tell you how the movie is going to end. His last word Rosebud is supposed to serve as mystery. It's feeble. The film is not even about his last word. It's about man's journey through American dream. Chris, so what's your favorite movie? Emma, Midnight in Paris. Chris, that's classic. Emma, I was into comedy. But I doubt if you can call Midnight in Paris as a comedy. However, it changed my life. It affected me surrealistic way. I was into Lucy Ball and Steve Martin. Father of the Bride is one of my favorite movies of all time. I must have watched it 20 times. Later, I had a divine intervention moment playing Samantha in Birdman like Sharon Stone when she did King Solomon's Mines vs Basic Instinct. That's where I am mentally. Chris, that's an interesting analogy. Emma, I've always been in touch with my sexuality as far as I remember. But I kept it to myself. You know, I did Cabaret in Broadway. It's a totally different feeling. I wanted to do the remake of Cabaret film version starring Liza Minnelli. Have you seen it? Chris, no, I haven't. But I saw the trailer and looked at it in Wikipedia. It's listed AFI 100 Best Films. Emma, in the film version, Sally is talented singer. But in stage, she is supposed to be a little bit awkward. Chris, humorously I can write you something similar to Cabaret. Emma, what do you have in mind? Chris, at the moment, I have nothing but we can create a story together based on Cabaret. Sally is a performer at the Kit Kat Club in Berlin. Is that right? Emma, something like that. Chris, that's all we need to know. We just need to bring Sally to USA. Suppose Sally is a burlesque at Naughty Cat Club in New York City. What do you want to do with her? Emma, I don't know. I am just listening. I like Naughty Cat. Chris, it's your story. I will help you build it. Emma, Sally doesn't have to be a gifted singer like Liza Minnelli, does she? Chris, it doesn't matter. Let's focus on the story first. Emma, what's the time period? Chris, it's set in modern time. They will be well choreographed dance like Smooth Criminal, Step Up and Chicago starring Catherine Zeta-Jones. Emma, Chicago is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I don't usually tell that to anybody. Chris, why is that? Emma, I don't know. I might get up on the stage and sing all that jazz whenever I go to a karaoke and nail every move Catherine did. But I don't usually tell people it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I want them to take me seriously. You know, I like dialogue that speak to my soul. Chris, what kind of dialogue speak to your soul? Emma, I feel no remorse. Suffer no guilt. Fear nothing. You have poached into my heart and love comes streaming out. The heaven has torn opened. Passion has spilled everywhere. Chris, that's something. Emma, I got it from Madame Bovary the BBC version. I saw them making love in the forest while I was in London. I watched few more minutes and memorize it just like that. I have neither read the novel nor watched the entire movie yet. Chris, what's your favorite novel? Emma, I love reading. I read almost anything, especially the best English language novels of the 20th century listed on the top 100 by Modern Library, you know, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, On the Road by Jack Kerouac, 1984 by George Orwell, Catch-22 by Joseph Heller and others. And classic novels like Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy and many more. For some reason I like Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Maybe I worked with Woody Allen in a couple of occasions. His philosophy is based on crime and punishment. It has great influence in his movies including Crimes and Misdemeanors, Manhattan Murder Mystery, Bullets Over Broadway, Match Point, and the last motion picture that I did with him, Irrational Man. Crime and Punishment is not spectacular in terms of story-wise. But I just like the fact how the protagonist tried to justify killing an old woman with an axe. Dostoevsky takes us to journey through his complex mind and tries to convince us his act is just. Yet, I wouldn't watch a movie based on the actual novel. It is not pretty. Chris, I started it, but didn't finish it. Humorously, if you pitch the story to Lionsgate, they make a horror film called Crime and Punishment and Halloween Carbon Trioxide. Jason vs. Rodion Raskolnikov like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Emma, when you read a novel, you're creating images that belong to you personally, firing up few neurons transmitters. The authors might help you with beautiful words here and there. But you have to create images from words. In the other hand, when you watch a movie based on a novel, actors and the directors already created the images for you. I think you get great emotional satisfaction from finishing a book. You know, a film ends in 2 hours. Sometimes, a novel takes a week to read it if you have something to do, like Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. It took me a week to read it. In the end, the authors threw her in the train like she was a witch. Have you read it? Chris, long time ago. It takes me more than a week to read it. 800-something pages. Emma, 864 pages. But why do some novelists feel like killing the protagonist? Chris, I don't know. Maybe Tolstoy had one too many vodka. Emma, I respect his realistic view and structure. But in the meantime, you had to consider your reader's feelings and try to end it with positive note. I know tragedy is the backbone of a novel. However, it doesn't always have to end in death. You know, I saw the movie Anna Karenina starring Keira Knightley. It looks beautiful but lacks substance. Have you seen it? Chris, no, I haven't. Emma, it's nothing like the book. The ending depressed me worse than the novel. Chris, I can change the ending and rewrite the story for you without the tragedy set in the modern day. You play Anna but you don't die. Instead of train station, you met Vronsky in the airport and carry on the affair in New York City. In the end, you think about killing yourself. But you changed your mind and returned to Vronsky. Emma, what's your favorite novel? Chris, you don't want to know. Emma, why is that? Chris, it is sick. Emma, what's it? Chris, The Girl with Dragon Tattoo. Emma, The Girl with Dragon Tattoo is one of my favorite novels of all time. I wanted the role of Lisbeth Salander so bad. I would have Rooney Mara killed in cold blood. I read it in one sitting. It breaks all kinds of grounds. I've never seen anyone who went through hell like Lisbeth. She is supposed to be the protagonist. But I can say much about the girl who played with fire and the girl who kicked the hornet's nest. Overall, the story is amazing. I had a Swedish blood in me. I know they can be extremely sexual at times. You know, I remember reading To Kill the Mockingbird. It was the first real book I read. I was told it was one of the greatest novels ever written, and expected to be a classic murder mystery. The novel was highly recommended by my uncle. I read it in one sitting. I was looking for mystery the whole time, but never really found any. Ironically, I saw myself in Scout, Jean-Louise Finch. But I had such great expectation and felt a little bit let down. The book is good in terms of preaching moral value, which is very America. However, it's nothing like The Girl with Dragon Tattoo. Nobody really talks about it. I like how Lisbeth gathers information and solve mystery despite the fact she has to put up with all kinds of fucked up people. Chris, if you like mystery, you should read And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. Emma, I read it a while ago. It is my top 5 favorite novels of all time. Anyway, let's work on the cabaret. Sally meets a writer named Clifford Bradshaw who just moved into the apartment that she is staying. It's Brian Robert in the film. Chris, let's call him Isaiah to make separation from both the film and the theater. Humorously, Isaiah always comes to see Sally perform at the Naughty Cat, but he leaves without saying a word. He's engaged to Jennifer Lawrence. Emma, I am not kidding. This is serious. I am going to play Sally, direct and produce it myself if it's good. Chris, okay. Isaiah is engaged to a serious stage actress named Natalie. She is a Broadway star. In the other hand, Sally dances at Naughty Cat. She is the main attraction of the club. Emma, Isaiah writes plays in Broadway where his finesse Natalie acts. However, he has a crush on Sally. She is in love with him secretly. Even though he is engaged, Isaiah and his fiancée Natalie live separately. He has rented the same apartment where Sally lives, so he could be alone and focus on his writing. Chris, that's pretty good. So one day, Sally runs into him outside the apartment. They take a walk in the park. She looks at his engagement ring on his finger and asks him if he is engaged. Isaiah tells her he is single. That is a lie. Isaiah removes the ring from his hand and puts it in his pocket. He says he only wears the ring in order to get in character that he is working on. Sally believes him. They go to New York City Metropolitan Museum, look at a couple of interesting paintings. They watch movie and have dinner at a romantic restaurant. They dance slow at a blues bar, kiss in a bridge, and make love at his apartment all night. Emma, Isaiah then tells her he lied about the ring. He has a fiancée. We might have to make a correction. Isaiah is married. Natalie is his wife. It will save us few trouble. Chris, sure. Emma, Isaiah tells Sally he has a wife. Sally says she doesn't care. She is in love with him. Isaiah and Sally continue to carry on the affair. Then one day, Natalie follows Isaiah and sees him having sex with Sally at Central Park on the bench. Later, Natalie approaches Sally and confronts her. Or rather, Natalie seduces Sally. They make love in a motel. Sally involves in steamy sexual relationship with both Isaiah and Natalie separately without his knowledge. Chris, that is erotic. Isaiah tells Sally he wants to bring the burlesque to theater and write her a play. Sally is going to start in the lead role. But Isaiah doesn't know what the story is about. Sally suggests about a girl who involved with a playwright and his actress wife. Isaiah likes the idea and writes a play under the title Blue Cabaret starring Sally and his wife Natalie, but another actor Miles fills his part. However, Isaiah is taken by the chemistry between Sally and his wife on the stage. And suspects there's something going on. He doesn't know what's happening. You know, Isaiah thought he just wrote a fiction. However, it's art imitating real life. One day, Isaiah takes a break from writing and follows Sally. He then sees her with his wife and Miles having sex, threesome. Isaiah shoots and kills all of them. I am kidding. I am thinking of Leo Tolstoy and Ernest Hemingway and all those psychopathic writers who kill the protagonist at the end. Isaiah just walks into the room. Let's get rid of Miles. He is not there. Isaiah asks them if he can watch them. Sally and Natalie say why not. They then seduce Isaiah into joining them. Isaiah, Sally, and Natalie have steamy threesome. Emma, I like the idea of how you bring cabaret into the Broadway. But I want to graduate to film. Hollywood executives ask Isaiah to adapt Blue Cabaret into big screen. The producers give Sally the lead role. Natalie gets the supporting role. They all move to Hollywood and begin to film under the title of Blue Cabaret. It's a big production. There are groundbreaking and well-choreographic dance sequences. Some of them are shot outdoor. Others are shot inside the Universal Studio who produced the film with a budget of $150 million. Chris, things go flawlessly. Sally also falls in love with the lead actor Ryan and tells Isaiah and Natalie she is moving with him. She can't see them anymore, like Christina played by Scarlett in Vicky Christian Barcelona. Isaiah understands what is in Sally's mind and lets her go. However, Natalie is devastated. She tells Sally she can't do this to them. She is the missing ingredient to their lives. Nevertheless, Sally has to move on. Ryan asks Sally to marry him. She accepts the proposal. They get married in a big wedding ceremony. The end. Emma, let's not end it yet. I'm playing Sally. It's my story. I want to be with Isaiah. Suppose Isaiah and Natalie file divorce. Sally runs away from the wedding, comes to Isaiah and tells him she has always wanted to spend the rest of her life with him. She doesn't want to share him with anybody either. They kiss passionately. The end. Chris, that is beautiful. We will sit and work on it together when I have free time. It's musical? Emma, it doesn't matter. She clicks a poetry and reads it out loud seductively. Emma, tenderness of morning light that heavens send. Delicateness of deep sensuality, a rose lying on her bed. Forgive not valleys, hills, mountains, and rivers lace. And the sun rises to pledge its rays to thy beautiful face. The skies brighten upon seeing thy smile and true grace. And a butterfly flapping its wings in the belly of a brave. Twilight of erotic crepuscule and glistening ocean wave. Ask not why the sun sets to surrender its seductive place. An eclipse to kiss and witness my heart race. Above all yet mercy the beat of my beat and my soul. Thrill to feel thy goddess body and naked embrace. Cuddling thee in love, lips to lose. Every universal run-of-the-mill sense. It's beautiful. Chris, thanks. Emma, who did you write it for? Chris, to Scarlett Johansson long time ago. I saw her lying on the bed in Lost Translation here in Arizona and wrote it 3 years later. I had a crush on her artistically, but it's over now. Emma, what is over? Chris, humorously, I am done with Scarlett. Emma, what do you mean you are done with her? Chris, I used that poem in Lethal Kiss starring Nicola Peltz. Emma, that's not fair. Chris, I felt like a pedophile. Nicola must have been 13 or 14 when I wrote it. But and then again, I didn't know her 7 years ago. Emma, you are something. Chris, nobody would know I wrote it for Scarlett unless I tell them. You're the only person that I told to. You can keep secret, can't you? Emma, humorously, I can keep secret like CNN. He smiles softly. Chris, never mind. I will dedicate it back to Scarlett, take my time and write Nicola a beautiful poem. She inspired me to write a couple of screenplays. Emma, are you in love with Nicola as well? Chris, humorously, I am not perfect. I want to sleep with every Hollywood actress. Is that a sin? Emma, no, it is not. Chris, I am kidding. I just had a weakness when it comes to beautiful girls, or rather I am using them to get inspiration. You promise your brain sexual favors with the most beautiful and talented actresses in Hollywood if it allows you to create some of the most beautiful stories ever written. You can always break the promise once you get your stories. You don't want to break the girls' hearts. Cameron Diaz said in Vanilla Sky, when you sleep with someone, your body makes a promise whether you do or not. I don't want to end up like Tom Cruise in Lucid Dream. I want to feel real breasts, the curve of your buttocks and the heat on your naked body when I cuddle you. And above everything, the taste of your lips and the honey on the layers when I kiss them from here to eternity. It sounds ironic, doesn't it? Emma, are you using me? Chris, humorously, what do you think? Emma smiles in beauty. She doesn't want to say anything. She plays Falling for You by Colby Calyot on the stereo and begins to sing. Chris looks at her and can't help falling in love with her. She then. Emma, what inspired you to be a writer? Chris, I do not know. One day, I just grabbed a pen and a paper, thought about the dream I had, which I don't remember to these days, and began to write a fiction. You know, I used to love drawing and tell stories when I was kid. I loved movies. Later, it's just happened naturally without my knowledge. There is a pause. She then. Emma, is there a secret? Chris, there is a treasure in your mind. But you can't protect it from getting robbed by madness and corrupted forces beyond you understanding that keep you at the edge of chaos. Peace is illusion. Maybe you are supposed to lose a grip of reality and just go with the flow. You know, don't go war with yourself. But if you must go war with your personal demons that were imposed within our subconscious mind at birth. They have the power to manipulate memories, fabricate delusions that include seeing images without visual input, and create hallucination that involves perceiving sounds without auditory stimulus. And they are capable of causing you a great deal of discomfort and pain. Perhaps, it's mystifying ache of the soul. Pain leads to phobias. Phobias prevent us to enjoy simple things that we're supposed to take for granted. Yet, your brain is the most complex entity in the cosmos. It's more complex than the particles in atoms that can be multiple places at the same time and the stars in the universe. In order to curb its enthusiasm, your brain creates a new world and falls in love with someone beautiful. If that's not enough, live your life without excuses. Do what you must. Love with all your heart, kiss with tongue and write as if the ink of your imagination were filled with the tears in your eyes, the passion on your lips, the blood in your veins, the marrow in your bones, the air in your lungs, the butterfly in your belly and the lust in your spleen, and the reminiscence of alluring pain when a man falls head over heels in love with a dazzling girl like thee, and to turn the vision into spell at the core of his soul and let it fly beyond the universe. And if not, shine brighter than the brightest star. He will make it worth a while. Emma, really? Chris, I am just showing off. As a writer, you have no peace of mind whatsoever. Sometime it's our fault. For example, I look at your eyes and write. Her eyes are like heavens where angels like to court, kiss, caress and make love to the stars and turn into the color blue. They inspire love that's beautiful, seductive, and true. Supposed I go back and change blue to red. Her eyes are like heavens where angels like to court, kiss, caress and make love to the stars and turn into the color of red. They inspire love that is beautiful, seductive, and true. Later, I'd go to bed and sleep like a baby. The universe conspires against me. When I wake up in the morning, Natural Mystic would put blue color everywhere I go. I'd see a blue butterfly floating in front of my house. Then, blue jay standing on a water fountain and drinking water. A little girl holding a blue balloon. I ignore it. A beautiful woman wearing blue dress gives me a sweet smile. I continue to ignore it. I just felt like writing red. I tell the force of nature, you are not the boss of me. I write whatever I want. Then it's on. A blue car hits you behind. You have to exchange insurance information. That pretty much would ruin your day. Unless you write advertisement for Geico. You know, I just got this image of you lying on top of the roof of a damaged car in a Victoria's Secret lingerie. Your boyfriend in the ad is taking suggestive pictures of you. Maybe for action movie that you might have done. Nobody knows what's going on. We then rewind the ad and see it from the beginning. Your boyfriend takes out a sledgehammer from the trunk and smashed his brand new Mercedes for the sole purpose of the photo shoot. We then cut to the ending. We see you and your boyfriend sitting at an office at Geico headquarters and claiming insurance for the car. A Geico employee is looking at the photos of you. He is wearing a blue tie. He approves your claim. Emma, that's slick. I like the idea of me lying on a damaged car. It's quite stimulating. I might suggest it to Interview magazine. They want me to be on the cover of the magazine. Chris, you don't want people to think that you fell out of the skies like an asteroid. You know, they might think you are some kind of alien from the distant universe. Instead of lying on the roof, you might want to sit on the far end of the hood. Your back is resting on the hood. The window is smashed next to you. There is a hole. It's done with a sledgehammer. You are wearing a beautiful see-through Victoria's Secret lingerie. The nightwear shows your skins, a little bit your private part. Emma, say vagina. Let's keep it real. Chris smiles softly. Chris, humorously sure. It shows your vagina. Actually, you slightly spread your legs. You're not wearing underwear. We see your vagina in its glory. The car is hammered as well. It's not your boyfriend who did that. It's you who bashed the Mercedes. You are holding the sledgehammer while lying on the car and licking the Hummer like Miley Cyrus. Emma, playing along. What about I wear nothing? Just lying on the smashing up car fingering myself. Chris, I can't beat that. Emma, I know you can. Chris, it's supposed to be a joke. Emma, whatever you said. Chris, humorously, if you want to pose nude, I won't stop you. Emma, why would you want to stop me? Chris, I said I won't stop you. However, you might want to cover your vagina with a sledgehammer or a cigarette. Emma, I prefer cigarette. Chris, I can live with that. Yet, your nails are painted blue on your cigarette hand. It has nothing to do with the ad or anything. The force just wants to show me the color of blue. I ignore them. My laptop goes blue. I have no choice but to buy a new computer. I turn it on. It has a beautiful girl named Emma Stone on the screensaver in close-up gazing at my soul set up by the factory. I then change red to blue. Then everything goes to normal. Emma, my eyes are actually green. Chris, let me see if it works with green. Thy eyes are like Garden of Eden where angels like to court, kiss, caress and make love to the stars and turn into the color of green. They inspire love that's more enchanting than the fever, tears, envy, pain and lust felt on the lips of Aphrodite whose soul dwells in her spleen. And those ethereal eyes of thine are merely a pair of phenomena of many traits. That makes thee exceptional in evidence. There is nothing like thee has ever been. And the reason why my soul think thou art the most beautiful girl it has ever seen. Emma, humorously, that doesn't sound bad. Chris, that is just an example. When you become a writer, you sense real magic. It's like the Bible. They say it's written by Holy Spirit. You feel the presence of supernatural forces everywhere. Perhaps we are not supposed to trust them sometimes. You just have to write whatever it feels splendid as if you are having out-of-body experience, like when I am with you. She smiles in beauty and continues to go through his stuff. There are over 100 film titles in his website. Emma reads some of them softly to herself. She then clicks a poem and reads it. Emma, there are no words that can describe her better than beautiful love. And my heart can't say enough of her eyes. Asking if she is the one who gave formation to the stars, and rise to oceans and the skies. When she smiles, light vows to her grace. My spirit leaps out of my heart, leaves the earth atmosphere and scatters throughout space. And find myself in a blissful place. Yet no heaven confesses sweeter than the roseate gladiolus and the white jasmine that blend in her soft skin and glows on her face. Spell and seduction, fever and addiction. The abstract of my feelings and emotion. Every butterfly mine belly does catch. Every flower my heart romance. Every star my eyes watch. Everything that puts me in a trance. Every kiss my soul does snatch. By far, she has no equal or match. Whom did you write it for? Chris, I wrote it for you when I saw you for the first time. Emma, I am flattered. I'd like to think my eyes gave formation to the stars and rise to oceans and the skies. Chris, you have the sexiest eyes ever. Emma, really? Chris, they are beautiful and suicidal. Emma, you thought my eyes were blue. Chris, I know they are turquoise. That was an example. I just thought blue rhymes with true. Emma, whatever. Chris, humorously, it's easy. Blue, clue, you and true. I just want to get to the point. Emma, anyway, when I was 8, I got a fight with my parent. I tried to commit suicide. I did not know what the suicide was. I stood on a table to jump and end my life. That was it. But I changed my mind at the last minutes. I didn't want to break my legs. Instead I took off my shirt and stand outside naked. So I could catch cold. It's Arizona. The place is desert as you see it. You don't get cold from hot weather. That was the last time I thought about murdering myself. Chris, why did you want to kill yourself? Emma, I forgot what it was about. I only remember standing outside in the dark half naked. I was saying the air is warm. I just went to bed and slept. Chris, sleep takes care of all your problems. Emma, what about you, have you thought about committing suicide? He shakes his head no. Emma, anyway, I want you to seduce me. Pay me a compliment. Chris, don't accept compliment from a writer unless it's poetry. Emma, why is that? Chris, that means they are holding on you. Emma, explain that to me. Chris, once they say they are writers, they should always compliment you with a poem. Emma, so compliment me with a poem. Chris drives a little bit, pulls the cars on the side of a road, and unbuckles his seat belt. Chris, gazing at her eyes softly. Sometimes, I have to lie to myself. To get a step ahead of my heart. Love has given me approval, which can be summed up with the slightest nod. Yet, I pretend this is my life. And must make peace with God. I'm in control of this and that. And keep on going against the odd. Till I break down and fall apart. And wish I'll be saved by love that brings your face into my heart like portraits and painting of abstract art. Nevertheless, if the world must and should know about love, the art of seduction and romanticism. Your luscious lips, fetching breasts, graceful hips and aphrodisiac body. Speak sensual language of deep eroticism. Moreover, for all that's created in the cosmos. And everything in the universe, just a thought of your arresting eyes give my soul spasm. And my heart a deep intense X-rated orgasm. Emma, that's fucking romantic. Emma unbuckles her seat belt, puts the laptop in the back seat, removes her underwear and throws it out of the window. Emma comes to Chris and sits on his lap. They kiss French. She begins to loosen his pants as they continue to kiss intimately. When they are about to make love in the car, out of nowhere comes a police car and pulls behind them. The cop blurs his light. Chris and Emma look at him. Emma, we didn't commit any crime, did we? Chris, I doubt it. Emma kisses Chris more, slips her lips seductively and gets back to her seat. The cop waits in his car. He is checking the license plate. Chris looks at him in the rear mirror. The cop then gives Chris a sign with his hand, you may go. Chris nods his head, starts the car, gets onto the street and drives down the road. Chris, we almost went prison. Emma, they don't send you prison for having sex in the car. Chris, he could have given us tickets. Emma, why don't you just pull over? Let's have sex and pay the fine. Chris looks through the rear view. Chris, the cop is following us. She turns around and looks at the cop. He is driving behind them. Emma, let's just do it. He can watch us if you want to. I will bribe him. Chris, you are crazy. Emma, I am in heat. If you don't want to do it, I will just finger myself. Emma begins to touch herself. Chris slows down. The cop drives slower. Chris, he is following us. Emma, I do not care. She continues to finger herself. Chris, he might give us a ticket for driving slow. We'll do it when we get Tempe. Emma, where are we? Chris, we are almost there. 1 hour outside Tempe. Emma, an hour is forever. Emma plays I Am No Good by Amy Winehouse on the stereo. And continues to finger herself while singing with Amy. She looks super relaxed. It's one of the sexiest thing we have ever seen in cinema. Chris looks at her and shakes his head in disbelief. Emma then makes sexual pleasure sounds as she reaches climax. It turns on Chris. She then grabs the laptop from the back seat, turns down the volume and goes through Chris's website. Emma, how many complete screenplay do you have? Chris, the one that have asters next to them are complete screenplays. They are ready to be shot. Emma, which one is your favorite? Chris, I like Scarlet Pimpernel. It's one of my earlier scripts. She clicks it and reads the synopsis. Emma, Vegas, Tristan just gets out of prison for stealing a car after serving 6 months. Later, Tristan and his best friend Matt steal a brand new Mercedes. In the trunk of the car, they find the body of Sienna, an exotic dancer whom Tristan was dating. They bury the body in the desert and sell the car. Later, Tristan feels bad about everything and contacts his brother Brad, a cop, and tells him about the death of Sienna and what they did with the body. They come to the gravesite and find his best friend Matt inside the grave instead of Sienna. In order to find the truth, Tristan questions Scarlett, a singer and dancer at the famous Rose Garden and a sort of femme fatale, whom he saw talking to Sienna earlier. Scarlett shows him a video of Senator Thomas Payton, who is running for president, strangling Sienna to death, which she recorded with her cell phone at a private party they attended together. Yet Senator Thomas Payton sends mercenaries to track them down and terminate Tristan and Scarlett and every person that they contact in this action-packed thriller. Emma, it sounds interesting. Chris, I wrote it while I was in love with Scarlett Johansson. Emma, I noticed it by the title, Scarlet Pimpernel. But what happened to them? Did they kill the senator? Chris, there is the enter plot under the synopsis Wikipedia style. You can read it if you want to. Emma, it's almost 4 paragraphs. Why don't just tell me? He smiles softly. Chris, there are a couple of shootouts. But they don't kill him. They can't get near him. He is one of the most powerful men in the world. Instead they expose him online despite the fact he has controlled all the media, internet connections, satellites, etc. He is like John Vought in Enemy of the State, starring Will Smith, but more powerful than God. The government sees everything you do online. There is no privacy. Quoting John Vought, privacy's been dead for years because we can't risk it. The only privacy that's left is the inside of your head. Maybe that's enough. Everything is on their fingertips. That doesn't bother Tristan. He killed mercenaries sent by the senator to murder them, and post the video in the internet. He is a highly skilled programmer. He just steals cars to get a kick out of it here and there. In the end, Thomas Payton, who is about to be elected president, commits suicide instead of going to prison like the warden in the Shawshank Redemption. Tristan and Scarlett kiss in the beach. The end. Emma, that's interesting story. If Scarlett passes it, I would love to play Scarlett. Chris, sure. You just gave me an idea. Scarlet Pimpernel is an action thriller. I might turn it into a murder mystery. You know, you play a girl named Amelia who investigate the murder of Sienna. She is a detective. The story focuses on who might have killed Sienna. I will figure it out and write a new story. Emma, I will take it. Emma closes her laptop and puts it aside. Emma, anyway, I do not want my parents to know I am in town. Chris, why is that? Emma, we are going to party all night. My friend is throwing the biggest high school union party ever. If my parents find out I am in town, they expect me to be home by 12 a.m. We will go in the morning and introduce you to them. Chris, I am not very good at socializing. Emma, you do not have to be a neurologist to meet my parents. They are the coolest parents in the world. Chris, I don't want them to think I have a bad influence on you. Emma, how is that? Chris, I killed their daughter. You have a video to prove it. Emma, I promise I won't show it to them. Chris, anyway, the other day I thought I lost Jennifer. Emma, imagine if she died on us, what would you have done? Chris, I would just turn myself to the police. I doubt it if I could have lived with myself after I killed American Sweetheart. Emma, you know what? We can write a screenplay based on that. It's fiction. Suppose she dies on us. We take her body with us and bury it here in Arizona. We try to lay low for a while till things cools down. Jennifer then comes back alive and tires to kill us. We shoot and kill her. Chris, you mean she returns from the death like Jesus Christ? Emma, no, she returns from dead in the form of zombie along with other dead people and surround us. We are at the 10-year high school reunion partying and making out. You know, having sex and all. Then come hundreds of zombies led by Jennifer and begin to kill everybody in the reunion, eating their brains and all. People are screaming and running for safety in vain. Jennifer is after us. We are the only person who remain alive. They all are dead. But since they were bitten, they return from death and become zombies themselves, and come after us. My friend is also alive. She has a secret room behind the wall where she keeps guns. We grab machine guns and kill close to 300 zombies. But they keep getting up and continue to come after us. They kill my friend. But this time, we are the only persons who remain alive. What are we going to do? Chris, I don't want to kill Jennifer. Emma, she is already dead. They are hundreds of them. They are about to kill us if we don't do something about it. Chris, you said we find a room where they keep guns in case of emergency. Suppose we find chemical component that melts zombies as well. It is powder. We lock ourselves in the room for a little while. We empty out the gunpowder from our bullets. They are futuristic guns. The bullets are ultra-modern. It's easy to empty out the powder like a small pill bottle. You squeeze tabs and turn the cap. We fill them with chemical just in time as the zombies break into the room. They all come after us to kill us. We massacre them. Their heads exploding everywhere and their bodies melting and all. Yet, we can't bring ourselves to kill Jennifer. She is our best friend. Emma, but she is also a fucking zombie. I am not going to take a chance. I shoot her in the vagina and kill that bitch. Chris, that's not nice. Emma, I don't need you. I will write the screenplay by myself and film it here in my hometown Tempe, Arizona. But since I am in love with you, I will take back what I just said. You will play the male lead role. I'll play the female lead role. Chris, who is going to play Jennifer? I doubt she is going to agree to play a zombie even you pay her $200 million. Emma, Aubrey Plaza will play Jennifer. She plays a zombie in Life After Death. I've never watched it. But I saw the trailer. She is perfect. Chris, I've never watched it either. But don't you think that would be typecasting? If she played a zombie once, why should she play a zombie again? Emma, are you defending her? Chris, no I am not. I saw her in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Emma, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is one of my favorite movies in the past 10 years. But I did not know Aubrey Plaza were in the movie. Chris, she has a minor role. Emma, what is it really about? Chris, Scott Pilgrim has to fight Ramona Flowers' 7 evil exes and defeat them in order to date her. Emma, now I remember everything. Starring Michael Cera and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Wait a second. Your girlfriend Brie Larson is in the movie as well, isn't she? Chris, she plays Envy Adams, Scott Pilgrim's ex-girlfriend. Emma, she plays a rock star. Chris, something like that. There is a part where Scott Pilgrim dies and returns from death. What do you think about this? Instead of zombies, Jennifer returns from death like a regular human being. Her life is restored like Scott Pilgrim. She comes to fight us with army of ninjas and Navy SEALs and mercenaries, hundreds of them. We slaughter all of them video game style with breathtaking martial arts, sword fight, and machine guns never seen in the history of cinema and live happily ever after. But we don't kill Jennifer. Emma, you can't be serious. Chris, why is that? Emma, what is this video game? We are not little kids. Chris, it was supposed to be an alternative idea. I don't really like zombie movies except Michael Jackson's Thriller. As a matter of fact, after I watched The Great Beauty, starring Antonio Servillo, it scared me to pick up a gun but a pen and write the poetry of life and fall in love with love forever. Emma, I saw it last year. It's one of the most breathtaking movies I've ever seen for a while. We're going to hit all the clubs and parties in Los Angeles when we get back. But I want to ask you a question. Why hasn't Jep Gambardella written all those years? I thought his girlfriend left him, and he stopped writing. But he never really said anything about why he hasn't written for 40 years directly. Chris, I was not really paying attention, mesmerized by its atmosphere. Jep Gambardella sums it up beautifully. This is how it always ends. With death. But first there was life. Hidden beneath the blah, blah, blah. It is all settled beneath the chitter-chatter and the noise. Silence and sentiment. Emotion and fear. The haggard, in constant flashes of beauty. And then the wretched squalor and miserable humanity. All buried under the cover of the embarrassment of being in the world and blah, blah, blah. After all, it's just a trick. Yes, it's just a trick. Emma unbuckles her seatbelt, puts her seat down and lies on her back. Emma, but is it really a trick? Chris, I doubt it. It's beyond a trick. He pulls the car at the side of the road, puts his seat back and looks at her eyes. Chris, I don't know how the universe is formed or the stars twinkle at night and fall in my heart like snowflakes and a butterfly floats in my belly with rose petals wings. When it flaps its wing in Los Angeles or here in Arizona, it causes nebula in the far end of the universe or how life began in Earth. Scent of the flowers and the stillness of spring. The contentment in summer and the warm weather. Melodious sound of autumn and golden leaves. Magic of Christmas morning and silence of winter. Sunrise confessing tender feelings hidden in morning stardust. And sunset seducing sensuality inflamed with twilight and stirring up desire. Peace is nothing but state of mind. I do not know what is going on. But there is a force that maintains the beauty of life. Shimmering shores of Vaadu, Maldives, or the frozen air bubbles in Abraham Lake leave human soul breathless. We can always talk about evolution, survival of the fittest and natural selection and culture here and there. But I can't explain or describe the beauty of Grand Canyon. My spirit just leaves my flesh and takes a flight like the bald eagle when I think about it. Old City of Jerusalem and Golden Gate Bridge might be the testament of the ever-evolving of civilization. But I don't know if there is a divine creator behind the underground natural spring in Mexico or the light pillars over Moscow or the underwater forest of Lake Kindy. Maybe they came out of nothing along with the countless stars and planets when the universe formed billions years ago, followed by blah, blah, blah. It is mystery. However, there is infinite conscious that manifests on every atom and molecule in the cosmos. Living things and non-living things. The Arctic wolf in Alaska and the dolphins in the Caribbean Sea. Harbor of Rio de Janeiro and spiderweb cocoon trees in Pakistan. Lake Hillier in Australia that is filled with pink water and the natural salt water fountain over the coast of Oregon. Universal life force has been breathing mystic into every particle unseen to the naked eye since the dawn of creation and brings about visual aspects, diversity, ambition, tears, aspiration, and the magic of life. Sometimes I dream of a tiger strolling at the Taj Mahal, a butterfly floating next to the Great Pyramid of Giza, a princess walking with a stallion in London Bridge, rainbow eucalyptus tree in Hawaii, a lion pride in Serengeti and polar bears in North Canada, a beautiful bride in wedding gown wandering around in St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City, and a geisha dancing in the street of Tokyo in Japan. The sun eclipsing the giant clouds over Beijing and Kailua and the beautiful sandstone formation in Arizona. And Angelina Jolie alluring lips in Hollywood. In the meantime, I can feel the Atlantic puffin in Iceland swimming in my heart, and the pink and white flamingos feeding and flying over the Laguna Hedionda in Bolivia. Sometimes, African crowned cranes would rove in my thoughts as if they were supermodels from an exotic universe walking on a catwalk. Every once in blue moon or rather often a fox runs wild in my imagination, and fairy tales keep me up all night. I can feel the beats of my heart on my lips till I find myself saying once upon time there was love, 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 love. But what is love? Isn't gravity responsible for people falling in love? And the question is not to be or not to be. It's rather to fall in love in all conscience without equivocation and to fall head over heels in love madly, genuinely, deeply and unconscionably without deception but seduction. However, what would love be without you and me? Well, love is general relativity to Einstein, and to a poet, sweet lips that rhymes, but to the one who feel her deep at core of his soul, it's a beautiful crime. Then there is time. Does it have beginning or an end? The past, the present, the future happens at the same time? Maybe someday time will cease to exist. There will be everlasting youth, beauty, love, and bliss. Nothing is evanescent but the fleeting of pain and suffering and confusion. There will be love beyond when light filled the universe at the Genesis. Of course, how can I forget about the space that is invisible? The driving force behind the air that we breathe in and exhale out. We can't see it. We can't smell it. We cannot feel it with touch. It is designed for the sole purpose of bearing life, and to keep us alive as long as possible. Regardless, it's nothing compared to the sweet smell of the perfume that you are wearing on your neck. It's driving me nut. What is it? He plants soft kiss on her lips. Emma, it's Mojave Ghost by Byrdo Parfez. It says inspired by the ghost flower that blooms in the extreme conditions of America's Mojave Desert. It has a delicate concoction scent that combines top notes of Jamaican nessberry and ambrette with a heart of violet, sandalwood, and magnolia before revealing musk, amber and cedarwood. I read it on Vogue. Chris, humorously whatever. She smiles in beauty and hits him playfully. Emma, you are an asshole. She climbs on him. They kiss French. She then rests on his chest and gazes at his eyes. Emma, you can't be real. You are dream. Chris places her back in her seat, plants soft kiss on her lips. She puts her hands around him. They kiss French. He leans gazing at her eyes. Chris, I swear sometimes I find my brain shaking inside my skull like earthquake. It's like Chinatown Jake Jeet played by Jack Nicholson. The bad guys cut the tip of his nose. He tells Evelyn Mulray played by Faye Dunaway I goddamn near lost my nose. And I like it. I like breathing through it. It's the same thing. Sometimes, my brain is in the state of disturbance. Commotion and turmoil. Confusion and absolute terror. It's nothing new. It puts lightning and thunderstorm in hell into shame. I like thinking with it. Sometimes, I'd see a beautiful girl walking in the street of Paris wearing a red dress. She turns into a golden pheasant and hovers over the city of light. I would then find myself inside the Louvre Museum looking at Mona Lisa. I visit a couple of paintings and sculptures including Venus de Milo, Psyche revived by Cupid's kiss, Liberty leading people, Nike of Samothrace, rebellious slave and the moneylender and his wife, and I would leave the museum in state of bewilderment. Chris plants a soft kiss on Emma's lips. Chris, I'd then come to the Cathedral of Notre Dame and sits in the third row and pray silently. Then the same beautiful girl in red dress walks into the church, looks at me, gives me a soft beautiful smile, makes the sign of cross, goes to the confession box and confesses her sins. Chris plants a soft kiss on Emma's lips. Note, we might see Emma as the girl in red dress if it's convenient just wandering around in Paris. It will be scripted. Chris, I don't know what her sins are. It's a fairy tale. Sometimes, my soul desires beauty above everything. It is biased. Yet, we all are in the mercy of each other. What is the purpose for all this demanding existence? Love and dream. Faith and romance. Kiss and passion. They are not inaccessible. They are within our reach. They are in our grasp of heaven. We did not choose to be in the world. We are chosen by a mysterious force beyond our understanding. Yet, it's up to us to make the best out of every day. Of course, there is a spiritual battle for our soul. Invisible forces that manifest deep in the subconscious of the mind. Good and evil. Order and chaos. Harmony and lack of control. Sanity and madness. Joy and rage. Angels and demons. God and the devil. Love and hate. It is fought at the core of our souls. Someday, we all die and maybe go to heaven or hell. Those who do good will be rewarded with eternal life. Those who do bad punished accordingly. Or perhaps, we might return as roses and tulips in reincarnation and light the world like the sun, later would attend nirvana and achieve everlasting life and enlightenment regardless of what it is. Pain and suffering. Meditation and peace of mind. Past life and the circle of living in a world that will be consumed by the sun in 5 billion years. It does not matter. We have to move on. Chris plants a soft kiss on Emma's lips. Chris, ironically, there are infinite universes hidden right in front of us. Someday, we will access them and discover new worlds. Yet it is always mystery, mystery, mystery. Maybe all's that is blah, blah, blah has answers to all of life's questions, cosmos, parallel universes, and everything. Perhaps it's an accident or it could be illusion. A hex, hocus pocus, enchantment spell. It's some kind of hologram. The most beautiful things in life like Aurora Borealis and Great Barrier Reef. The stars and galaxies. Alicia V. Condor. Existence itself and natural objects in the universe. Life on Earth and creation. There are nothing but illusion. However, I look at your enthralling eyes. And the poetry on your lips. My heart turns into ice. I cave it with an ice axe that I designed with fire. Dig deeper than the Pacific Ocean. In the reminiscences of the first soft gold beam of the morning sun breaking the cloud. And inject the water with tenderness. Followed by millions beams of light. Scintillating on the steaming sea of love. I'd then put the beats out with a shovel. And let love shine beyond heavens in the summer. Yet, the temperature of my blood increases like volcano eruption. And falls in my soul like Victoria Fall with smoke of aurora. Forming image of the infantum of atmospheric and phenomenon. Breeze in my quintessence softer. Than California weather in September. Till you appear in my heart and spirit. And bite my left ventricle that's responsible. Of pumping blood to most of the body. And dance under my skin as if it were a nightclub. You return back in my heart and prey on my right ventricle. That's responsible of sending blood to my lungs. And leave me breathless like a wounded baby lion cub. To close my eyes, closes his eyes, I only see your face. The vision of beautiful love, kissing your lips. And holding you next my heart in the bathtub. He opens his eyes. He gives her soft kiss on the lips. Emma, softly by his lips I don't give a fuck if thousands police in the road. I want you to make love to me now. They kiss French. Chris removes his pant completely and throws it in the back. So he could have a better movement. Emma sits on his lap and rides up and down seductively as they begin to make love. Some people, who are driving on the road, look at them in shock as they pass by them. Chris lowers the seat farther and lies back. Emma continues to ride him sweetly. Her face glows like the moon gloriously with sexual pleasure. She is making all kinds of erotic sounds. Chris squeezes her buttocks and comes inside her. They kiss passionately. Emma then gets back in her seat, lowers her chair and lies next to Chris and takes a deep breath. Emma, I need a fucking cigarette. Chris, you said you were quitting. Emma, I am quitting. But this is the best outdoor sex I have ever had in my life. The moment deserves a cigarette. You don't have any cigarette, do you? Chris, I quit a long time ago. Emma, don't sweat it. I have a weed in the compact glove. I keep it in case of emergency. Emma leans forward, opens the compact glove and grabs the weed from a mail envelope. She lights it with a lighter, puts the lighter back in the compact glove, takes a puff, gets closer to Chris and breathes the smoke in his mouth shotgun. Chris lets out the smoke through his nostril. They kiss French. Emma slips her lips seductively, lies back on her seat and takes a puff. She passes the weed to Chris, leans forward, plays Adele's Hello on the stereo and lies back. Emma, what do you think the new Adele's song? Hello. Chris, I don't know. Is it any good? They are talking while passing the weed. Emma, you haven't listened to it yet? Chris, yes, I have. Emma, so, what do you think? Chris, I don't know too much about music. If it has a catch chorus, I will listen to it over and over like Rolling to the Deep. Emma, I thought it was pretty good. Chris, she always sounds beautiful. But this is a little bit downing. She sings with Adele a little bit. Emma, you are right. It is depressing. She leans forward, plays Rolling to the Deep, lies back and lets her spirit soar like a bird singing with Adele while puffing the weed. Chris, you have an amazing voice. Emma, I am not nowhere close to Adele. That bitch can sing like the saints in heaven. Chris, humorously you are better than her. Emma, whatever. She continues to sing with Adele Rolling to the Deep. Emma, come on sing with me. Chris, I cannot sing. Emma, just sing with me. Chris begins to sing with Emma. They sound good together. She then gets on top of him and kisses him. They kiss French. We take it with overhead shot.